Right.
I just said it's recording.
Yes. Here we go. We're off to the races. We wanted to capture all the magic that is FightClan Steve, who's our guest today. This is YCHYFUS, by the way, with your regulars, Clive Davis and him.
Darren Jones.
Yes.
Yeah, but when you did that,
Yeah.
it was the wrong way. You went over there. I mean, hang on. You went over there, but he's actually over there.
Yes, but you're forgetting the we don't give a fuck.
Oh, well.
Yeah.
You're right. I did forget that. Yeah.
Yeah. So here we go. Yeah. We got a guest, so we'll get him just to introduce himself. Who are you, sir? And why are you here? And what are you? What are we going to talk about today?
Oh, I see. I've got to answer questions. All right.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, first off, I've got to give it the Kunga's greeting, boys, because it's kind of what I'm known for. Yes. Respects. I presume we're going to have a chat about some Kungas, or are we going to have a chat about some Kungas? Because you might not be. It depends on what I've chosen. The reason I'm here, well, first off, my name is Steve. Right? Yeah. That's interesting, isn't it? And secondly, I'm here because you asked me to come here. You invited me. Very kind of you. Thank you very much. I'm normally the one doing the inviting, but I got invited, and I really, really appreciate that, boys. And I'm more than happy to be here. Love it. You know what? I don't say this that often, but I'm actually a bit excited.
Oh,
about that.
Excellent.
That makes all of us.
We're excited to have you as well, because it's nice to kind of mix it up with different people. It's nice. We're just going to do our usual format, but it's it's nice to have it. Yeah, but it's nice to have it have it disrupted by people.
This is the free Ronnies, boys. The free Ronnies. Come on.
I keep doing Morecambe and Wise when I hear two Ronnies. That was meant to be.
Well, it's like the level of humor drops a few notches, isn't it? If you're talking to Ronnies, I think. Or is that a controversial statement?
I don't know.
No, they're no good. I thought they were brilliant. No.
Well, let's put it this way: it doesn't go all the way down to Cannon and Ball, but
they're brilliant as well.
So hang on. So
there's going to be a load of people who don't know who these guys are, but there you go. Yeah.
No, hang on. I need to establish this now. So are we saying, so of the three, right? Obviously, we know where Cannon and Ball are, right?
Yeah.
So Morecambe and Wise and two Ronnies.
Yeah.
Yeah, brilliant.
Where are they sitting in a hierarchy?
All below Benny Hill.
I'll agree with that.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
Although to be
in
honest,
the hierarchy, I don't know. I like Morecambe and Wise in those contacts you said, because they've done some brilliant films.
Have they?
That Riviera touch is one particularly that I love. Yeah, it's brilliant.
Say that again, Steve.
I do not know that
Riviera touch. I think it's called.
Okay.
I love it.
Okay.
Me and my bro grew up watching that, and it's absolutely fantastic.
That's interesting. I don't think I've ever seen Eric and Ernie film.
No, not me.
This is a good one.
I only know them from bothering guests that come on the show and like fucking about behind them when they try and sing and stuff like that, right? That's
okay. More evidence that they're brilliant. Yeah. Okay.
Right. Yeah. Well, we did talk Frankie Howard on another show we did recently, and
we're always talking Frankie Howard
and Tommy Cooper.
Oh yeah. Well,
Tommy Cooper is
just like that, isn't it?
Yeah.
You had your show with Gino, didn't you?
Yeah, we did. Yeah, we did a Tommy special, but no Kung Fu on that one. No
Kung Fu?
Not on that one, no.
Well, I honestly, I'm not sure there's going to be much Kung Fu on this one, given what I've chosen. There might be. It just depends. It depends how you view it. It depends,
No, I'm calling it Kung Fu. But it's 90s Kung Fu.
Before we get into what you've chosen, actually, let's get a bit of background for those who don't know who you are. Although I suspect you have a much larger viewership than you, so I wouldn't expect the numbers to go up much by being on our show. Maybe like 2 extra people might check you out. But just in case those two are wondering, who's this FightClan Steve? What's he all about? Where do you come in with Fu fandom, I suppose, in general, and anything else you might want to tell us about yourself?
Yeah, well, I don't really want to tell you anything, but I did agree to come on, so I'm going to have to tell you something.
It's true.
So the Kung Fu films, well, I love them. That's all there is to it. I mean, they're the best. I've grown up watching them. I've been watching them for donkey's years. Probably, I don't know. I mean, I was way under 10, I would think. My uncle had a videotape which had Enter the Dragon and Bruce Lee, the Man, the Myth on it. So 2 brilliant films. So I had a real Bruce and a non-real Bruce. So you can't argue with that. Both of these versions on this videotape had nunchucks, so they were uncut. Not that I knew that at the time, but so I really got a good introduction, I think. And that videotape, me and my bro watched it over and over and over again. I think he had a couple of others, but they're the ones that were always there on this tape. And I still have that tape because eventually, years later, when I was a fully fledged man and we used to discuss it, he eventually said, "You can have that tape." And obviously, I took it with glee because it's part of my history, and probably they're still my 2 favorite, not my favorite films, but they're my favorite versions of those films because they are the films. But after that is when I truly got into it. That was a kid watching something that was interesting to me, something that wasn't normal. So of course it engaged me, but it wasn't, that was the start, but it wasn't the thing that made me follow it with a passion.
Okay, well, before we get to see what that was, it's worth mentioning that this doesn't mean much to people outside the UK, I think, but the whole Enter the Dragon and Chuck thing is quite interesting as well, because I remember also having never seen it without the nunchucks, because I was lucky enough to have seen it for the first time that famous time when ITV broadcasted late at night and they forgot to show the cut version, right? They showed the uncut one for whatever.
I like the way that was worded. They forgot to show the cut version.
Yeah. Because they had them both on the shelf next to each other. And they were, oh, no. Yeah. Anyway, for whatever reason, there was a faux pas over at ITV. And they technically, would they have broken the law? I suppose they might have done.
Yeah, probably. If broadcast against the law to broadcast something that's not certified, I don't know.
I mean, I'm going to say, depending on what time they showed it, because it would have BBFC 18. So maybe if they showed it after Watershed, I don't know.
Yeah.
But it was pre all that, probably, was it? Was there BBFC back then?
Yeah. No, this was like late 80s or something.
Yeah. All right. So look, maybe it was a mistake, as you call it. I mean, you used a bit of a posh French word there, didn't you, to say mistake?
Right? What was it?
Well, I don't know. It's a posh French word. It's not. I just used an English one. Mistake. You definitely used.
Look. We're Welsh, right? We're Welsh.
Yeah, we speak a lot of French in Wales. You don't know this, see?
Yeah.
Wait. But Welsh. There's just it's English in it.
Hang on now, we're in dangerous territory.
But anyway, the point
that's the whole point. We're in dangerous territory. We're talking about nunchucks on ITV or whatever you said. This dangerous territory. I'm just staying within the territory.
We'll have to pull out Valley Fist.
Valley Fist.
Yes.
Yeah, it's like a normal fist, just with loads of heroin and
it's an indigenous style to Wales. Yeah.
Yeah, I know. You're saying that you two, you grew up on the streets in the hood. That's what you're saying.
That's right. Actually, Darren kind of did a little bit. I didn't. But,
Look, it's obviously affected you, though, because remember, you wasn't supposed to see the nunchucks.
No, right? Exactly. So they were right.
To see it.
BBFC was
right. Somebody did a faux pas.
See, I think you do speak French. You do speak
just a little bit. So yeah, nunchucks, interesting. You are right. So our introduction to Bruce Lee, unlike many others, was that we actually saw the nunchucks. We was already in. And later on, all the other films, so Fist of Fury, Way of the Dragon, they had no nunchucks in. Now, I didn't know that they had no nunchucks in because I was too young to really notice. I just thought those films were those films. I didn't know they had no nunchucks. But it turns out my first Bruce Lee experience and Bruce Lee, because the Man, the Myth's got nunchucks in.
Yeah.
And it wasn't until years later that I got both of these films again with nunchucks, because after that, you can imagine, right? Once I got into the films properly, after that videotape, I went, right, okay, I want Enter the Dragon again. I want It Better Quo. I want Bruce Lee, the Man, the Myth. I bought those films numerous times and they never had nunchucks. I always had to go back to the original tape that I had. So yeah, nunchucks, right? Isn't it weird that our experience was with nunchucks? Because the experience that most people have, at least as you say in United Kingdom, is United Kingdom is Wales part of just
Yeah.
I don't want to tread on that dangerous territory again. Yeah, I learned from my mistakes.
We're good.
Yeah. I trod on it before because I didn't know about the whole upbringing stuff. Right. It's the street. You know, the streets you grew up. I didn't know about the.
We've only got one street.
Was it?
That's the thing. We've only got one street. It goes from the north to the south, and we just live on different points along it. Sean was way up the top.
Yeah.
And if he wanted to get in contact with us, he used to send a roller skate down the hill.
That's it.
Gotcha.
Clive's got fields and sheep, and I've got burnt out motors and dead bodies.
Yeah.
Not really.
Was the last one dead? What?
Dead bodies.
Oh.
No, not really. I'm joking.
Okay, yeah.
But not too far.
I'm joking. Well, not really.
Listen, fellas, my story.
Yeah.
Right.
Carry on.
Okay, yeah. It's kind of finished anyway. But I'm saying that it took me a while to re-get those films. You know, I don't even think I've still got a good Man the Myth. I don't think I've got a good version of it. I think the best version I've got is on that vid tape still, I think. Because I bought it. I even bought that. I'm sure I bought that once when I was in America and it still had no nunchucks in it. So anyway.
Is it not in the Clones DVD, or do I imagine that?
Well, I mean, I can't say that you've imagined it, but it's definitely not in there.
Okay. Have you got it?
I'm not even. I mean, look, are you the sort of fellas that need proof, or am I okay just saying
no?
No, yeah, I
believe you. Yeah, cool. Yeah, no, I'm waiting for payday to try and get it myself, and I haven't.
It'll be sold out by then. Yeah.
Were you at least? I was curious. Were you like as a young chap? Were you like, hang on now?
What do you mean as a young chap?
That's not the
You
same.
mean younger than now, but I'm still. Right? I mean, you're not calling me an old chap, right? Oh, chap! You see,
just be a chap.
Chap.
Yeah, You can't be an old chap.
Yeah, right. Okay.
You'd be an old git.
Yeah.
So as a young chap, were you at all? Did the whole thing that it was supposed to be the same Bruce, but they were clearly not the same actor? Did that throw you at all? Yeah.
Look, I don't want to be offensive to anyone, but yeah, it was just a Chinese bloke with no top on, is the truth. And I saw a number of non-real Bruce
films. It's a good
films.
Saturday night, isn't it?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, more than just Saturday night for me, but yeah, brilliant. And I didn't really know the difference, is the truth, between those two, because they're just the leads, aren't they? And there's nunchucks and fights and muscles and all that. So to me, I saw other non-real Bruce films, and I knew the films were different, but I don't even know that I even questioned, is this the same bloke? To me, it was just put on Chinese muscle fight man. You know, that's it.
Well, it's funny. I don't think it's even the issue of not being able to tell, because I remember talking to a Chinese guy, a Chinese British guy, and he was saying when he was a kid, he didn't question the difference either. He just went along with they were the same person.
Yeah. Right.
But the other thing as well to say about Bruce, so we're quite stubborn as well, because we grew up in a place without literature and the internet and culture in general. We didn't know that he was gone.
I'm not. Okay, well, that was you. You mean where you two on that one street in particular? Yeah. Okay.
That's it. Yeah.
We didn't call him Bruce Lee because I don't think we had a context. I don't think we ever heard anyone speak his name. So for us, he's Bruce Lee. We always called him Bruce Lee.
Yeah.
And
actually, I think that makes more sense. Is the truth.
To be honest, this day I refuse to switch and call him Bruce Lee because I think it makes more sense just to
I can't reprogram myself.
No, because there is a Bruce Lee. There's a Bruce L-A-I.
L-A-I.
Yeah,
that's right. Yeah. Well, I've got to kind of call him Bruce Lee. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but then I
don't know if it is Bruce Lee, because the truth is, if you just saw L-I, that would be Lee.
Yeah.
Oh no,
And
hang on,
isn't
sorry.
Isn't there also an LY? Is he one of the clones of Bruce?
Yeah, I think there is a Y version. Yeah, yeah. Good, ain't they? Non-real
Isn't that-
Bruce is
Isn't
the
that
best.
wasn't that Karata? Didn't Karata get called a Bruce?
He was a non-real Bruce, yeah.
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 No, but he had a Bruce name, didn't he?
He
was
did have a Bruce
something.
name, but I can't remember his Bruce name.
I wonder if it wasn't Bruce LY actually.
Well, one of you two.
Could be wrong.
But now you have got internet. There's no excuse. So, you know. And they did mention him on that Enter the Clones of Bruce documentary, and he was on it, and he was talking about the fact that he was a non-real Bruce and this, that, and that. And I never really saw him as that because I just saw him as Karata.
Yeah.
That's what I saw him as. And they talked about it there. But that was a number of months ago. So, of course, I don't remember what his non-real Bruce name is. But as I said, we've got access to the internet now, boys, right? I mean, let's find out.
So you were saying that you had the Bruce experience, but it wasn't the special thing that launched you on your glittering career as a commentator on Kung Fu. It was something else. What was that then, Steve?
Well, I can tell that the thing I picked up from that is how professional you are there, Clive, because
thank you very much.
You've remembered, even though I've chatted a load of crap since that comment, you've remembered. I must remember to ask him because he said it wasn't the thing. It weren't the thing that got him on the path. Very, very professional of you. I'm going to ask because obviously I want to learn. Did you make a note of that or did it stay in here?
I did actually stay in here, but...
Oh, did it?
Yeah.
Well, fantastic. Fantastic skill. You're right. It wasn't that tape. That was the starter. It was Snake in the Eagle's Shadow.
Oh, good work. Yeah.
I've changed it there to a bit of, because we know it's snake into cat in that film. That was the one. Once I saw that, I reckon, I'm guessing, but I believe I was around 7 or something like that. Me and my brother were left at home with family friend, and this fella was quite a bit older than me and my bro, maybe about 6 years older than me, so a few years older than my brother. So he was probably not old enough to look after us, but he was looking after us. So to look after us, he went round the video shop. That's what happens, right? He's got to keep the kids quiet. Yeah. And he brought back Snake and Eagle Shadow, bang that on. And honestly, I can tell you now, from that day, I knew. I remember telling my mum and dad when they came back, I've just watched this film. It's unbelievable. Put it on again, please. And honestly, I love it now to this day. But that was the one that made me know that there's something in this, and I just hope that there's more of it. And I think it's purely. I see them as real life superheroes, these guys, and to me, Jackie Chan really, really sort of elevated that because he had some of the acrobats and he was doing animal stuff. He had the muss as well. He looked amazing. He was doing, some weapons. There's a little bit of pole in there and stuff, and the training, and there was just so much in there that I just went, I can't believe that there's people like this that exist. So things like the Hulk and all of that, they were out the window from that point onwards because I had now seen true. I knew that stuff was fake comic book and stuff. Whereas this, I went, well, it looks real to me. It's in front of my eyes. It looks real to me. This is superhero stuff. So from that point onwards, I was running around doing Snake Fist and everything, and trying to find as many of those films as I can. And we got very, very lucky in the UK because there was a lot of stuff in the vid shops, wasn't there?
Yeah.
Well, there wasn't that much around our way, I have to admit. But
there weren't much of anything around your way.
No, exactly. Right. But no, it was out there if you had, because were you growing up in London?
Yeah.
Yeah. So you would have had a access to. I would imagine back in the day you would have had a video shop everywhere, right? Everywhere you would have had video shops.
Yeah. I mean, so there was one around the corner, which was probably a 7-minute walk or something like that. Very, very close. Literally round the corner like that. You go around the bend, and our house was there. And obviously, you can't just walk through people's gardens, but the video shop was basically
I understand how corners work, Steve.
Okay, yeah. Well, no, I don't know. Is this called a corner?
Well, to be fair,
is that a corner? Because it's not a corner, is it? This ain't a corner, is it? I mean, I do go round.
Yeah, more a curve.
But hang on, is it a corner though? Because
no one says, "Oh, where do I catch the bus?" Or it's on the curve, or the curve shop. It's the corner
It's
shop.
not around the. What about around the bend?
Also,
That's the
to be
toilet.
fair, well,
Oh, is it? Okay, yeah.
but to be fair to Steve,
Thanks,
you
mate.
did only a
want
few
to be
minutes
fair.
ago. No, well, you did only a few minutes ago
Yes.
tell Steve that there's only one road in Wales that's just a straight line.
Yeah, that's true.
So for all Steve knows, we
Right.
don't know what a corner or a curve is.
Oh,
Yeah.
this is true. This is true. He was educated.
Thanks.
He was, yeah. There we
Appreciate that, Darren. That you know, I appreciate
all right.
that. Thanks. You
Yeah,
know,
that's
I was just
another
going
one.
with the flow.
That's
Damn it.
another one on the slate.
Yes, you've got more points now. I have to up my game so Steve comes over to be my friend.
It was there. It backed onto not really our house. It sort of fronted onto another house that backed onto our house, but it really was just there. Any local town that you went to, so if you got a bus into wherever, Lewisham, Peckham, Brixton, wherever, there was, like you say, another video shop. And as a matter of fact, probably a half an hour walk away, there was another one. And obviously I used to frequent both of them because they had different stuff.
So the question we always ask people who are familiar with the area in general was, where was that video shop again, Darren? I always forget.
Which one?
The one around the corner from Wood Green.
Bruce Grove.
Yeah. Did you ever make it to the shop in Bruce Grove that was like a treasure trove of food? Like,
not that I remember, not maybe, but not that I know of that it was in Bruce Grove. I have been Bruce Grove, and I did used to go Wood Green quite a lot because there was a video game shop there that I like called Chicanas, and that was amazing.
Oh, okay.
That was games as well. Well, still games as well.
The shop we're talking about, I mean, I don't know how far back it goes, but that would have been later in the 90s, I think that would have been right. But
yeah, I remember what it was called. Strangely enough, it was called Arrow Video.
Oh, was it?
Was it?
Yeah.
I was about to ask what it was called. Arrow Video.
Yeah,
no, that was
Arrow Video.
Shocker, that place was.
Well, it was just bootlegs.
Yeah.
It was proper bootlegs.
Okay.
So I don't know where they got them from, but it was back in the late 90s. It was £2 for proper I can't think of one off the top of my head, but the stuff you couldn't buy on a legit release.
Debbie Does Dallas.
No, well,
right, that stuff is that the meanest stuff you couldn't buy, right? Yeah.
No, I'm talking about Kung Fu.
Oh, okay, sorry. Right, okay, yeah, well,
it's good because if we're talking David Does Dallas, I don't know what sign you'd do. You just go like that or something.
I wouldn't, boys. I don't do things like that.
No,
right?
No.
Right.
The nuns.
But yeah, brilliant. Okay, so do you think you could get that other stuff, the under the counter, as well from there, Bruce?
Oh, no doubt. Yeah. I would imagine so. I don't know. I never tried because I walked in there, like on one of my little jaws, because I used to live in Wood Green. We used to live in Wood Green actually. Clive and I used to share a place in Wood Green. I just took a trip up there. Got off the bus early. I was going somewhere else and thought, it's a video shop I haven't been in. So got off the bus, went in there, and it was just like a holy grail of proper Kung Fu bootlegs.
Do you remember?
Brilliant.
Did you use the video shop? As in, did you rent anything out?
Yeah, loads.
All right. Well, do you remember the first one you rented out?
Kung
Fu, not the under the counter, right?
I want to say.
Hang on. We should do this where we're supposed to go on Steve's show and he interrogates us. We're supposed to.
I know. You see, I can't help it.
Right.
Yeah, I do the chat. So you are right. Yeah.
I want to say. Hang on. I want to answer the question.
Yeah, so I know, but I know what he's. You can answer that one.
I want to say it was.
Please take it over already.
Listen, no one's. You have to let me elucidate. I want to say it was 8 diagram pole fighters. But it
okay, well, you can choose. You want to say it or
no? I think it was, but it's not that fresh in my mind. It's not that clear in my mind because I was getting bootlegs off Toby at the time as well. So it was it was amazing to have somewhere I could rent from. But anything in there, I could actually have got from.
Just so I know,
if I wanted to.
Just so I know whether I should edit that out or not. I'm assuming the statute of limitations have run out on Toby's stall.
Let's
Yeah, we're all
edit
good.
that out.
We're all good, yeah.
Well, that was the next question.
No, wait, I can't. I've got a camera. No, wait. Excuse me, it's your show and everything, but just,
go on.
just hold on 1 second. You said 8 diagram pole fighter. Now, was it 8 diagram pole fighter or was it invincible pole fighters?
No, it wasn't invincible. It was, if it was anything, it was 8 diagram pole fighters.
Was it in English or was it in Cantonese?
English, I would have thought.
It was in English.
Yeah.
And you think it was in English and called 8 diagram pole fighter, do you?
I don't know. It's too long ago. It's too long ago.
Yeah. So you're starting to question it a bit now.
We're going back about 25 years. So,
You've fallen into cunning trap. I warned you, Darren. Not to go there.
No, I'm. For some reason, my glasses are steaming.
I did notice that.
I don't really know why. Yeah.
Well, you do under the counter. Debbie does. We know why.
Yeah,
right?
that's
it's pretty obvious.
No, I was just thinking of Gordon's pole.
So the second the second part of that question, yes, was did you frequent Toby's place of business, which was totally above board and legit, and also did you happen to pop round to the psychotronic shop at all at the same time?
Psychotronic, yes, but Toby's, no.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and I don't know why. As in, I just didn't know it was there. You know, it weren't the same as you had to know, right?
Yeah.
So if you didn't know, you didn't know. There's no interweb. There's no one putting posts on Facebook and letting you know. If you know, you know. And I didn't know. So there was the shop in Camden. I don't even know if the one that I used to go in the most was called Psychotronic, but I do know I used to go in that shop. But the one I went in a lot was downstairs. Was that one downstairs in somewhere? Camden? No. Okay, so there's two then.
Psychotronic was next to. So as you come out the tube station, there's the big market.
Yeah.
And it was in a little shop right next to the market, but it was above.
Okay, yeah, well, I know that one. But then there was one downstairs. That was a Baker one, though. And then obviously they opened one up on Shaftesbury Avenue as well.
Yeah. So the original Eastern Heroes was beneath Psychotronic, wasn't it? It was underneath Psychotronic.
Yeah, because Psychotronic was on the second floor, and then it kind of moved in and up.
Right.
Yeah.
So those ones, but not Toby's. Not Toby's, no.
So I'm assuming you didn't know Rodney back in the day either, then.
Nope.
Because you would have told about it, obviously.
It's weird because we know some of the same people from that era, but not me and him. So I know. So often we talk about a bloke called, Dave the Abbot Sinclair. That was a guy that I used to go round his house and watch Kungs with him. But yeah, I didn't know Toby, didn't know Rodney. So it's kind of, I don't know. I don't know. Who knows why, right? But yeah. So no, not Toby's. Was he a shop or a stall?
Stall,
yeah.
There you go. Was I missing out? I must have been.
Yes, you were. Yeah.
To be honest with you, Steve, I didn't go that often to Toby's stall either. That was more Darren's thing because at that time, Darren had gone into foo a bit quicker than I had. So I was a bit more general horror and exploitation. So I would have been in the Psychotronic shop
Gotcha.
as well.
Gotcha. Yeah.
Yeah. Right. Okay. So it was Snake in the.
It's not the first place I bought Kung Fu's. Video shops were, but the place I first started to find out about nunchucks and uncut stuff, because you don't know about that until you know about it, was a tiny little shop in Chinatown where Rick Baker used to work. And I'm telling you now, I was a teenager. I was a kid. And he had a bootleg of Spartan X. That's the trivia. Spartan X, guys. What is it?
It's Wheels on Meals, isn't it?
Yeah, there you go. Right. Wheels on Meals. I didn't know that, right? I just saw Spartan X, but I could see it was a drawing of Jackie Chan. That sparked me interest. I walked in there, and that's how and where I met him. And
but that's what it's called here in Japan is Spartan X.
You know what? It's true. Jack Pressbook. It is called Spartan X. Yeah. Of course, you're coming live from Japan, right?
That's where I am. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, brilliant. Right. So that was where I started to find out about uncut stuff, because he said to me, "Oh, you like these films, do you? This is uncut, this, that, and the other." That's what really got me into. Really? Yeah, because have you seen Way of the Dragon? Yeah, I've seen Way of the Dragon. Well, I've got it with nunchucks in it. And obviously I was amazed. I was blown away. So, he sort of introduced me to taught me about what I was missing out on. We know why, right? Because obviously he was selling them to me, but it was still a brilliant experience. It was still really eye-opening because you know, he took me upstairs into where he was living in his flat, and he'd pop it in and
hang on now.
You know, so the tape.
All right,
not the under-the-counter tape,
right.
the Bruce Lee one, right?
Be one of them
yeah, no, not that version,
stories.
right? I told you I was a youngster, right? Anyway, young chap, innit?
Impressionable.
Yeah, and the truth is, it was brilliant, right? Because I didn't say he wasn't telling me the truth, but I was pretty much like, "What are you talking about? What do you mean he's got nunchucks in it?" Yeah, because I'd seen the ones got nunchucks in, but like I say, he showed me, and it changed everything, right? Because then I was watching things like Spartan X with, you know, different music on the intro, and it changed everything. It was all bootleg stuff, but that's where you needed to go to expand the knowledge. You know, you had to go to that stuff because it wasn't available. You know, fun times.
Going back to what you were saying as well about like how impressed you were the first time you saw Snake, and it, like, just, my God, people can do this sort of. It's funny that never really goes away because, I mean, in general, if you're watching like other action films out of Hong Kong and Taiwan and stuff as well, there's a certain level, like you'll be watching, you know, something relatively obscure from back in the day or something, and there's just throwaway stunts in there, right, which are just like, fucking hell, that's some, like, hang on, I have to rewind it because you know, they don't kind of make a big deal about it, and it's so that's why it becomes, that's why I don't understand, like, in more recent, I haven't seen the sequels yet, but for instance, when the first John Wick came out, for example, right, and everyone's going, "Oh my God," and it's like, yeah, no, I've seen this done much earlier and much more just off the wall, and it's funny, like you were saying, it is almost like it's like, unless someone shows it to you, or unless you get clued in, then you don't realize, right? And then and when you're not suitably impressed by stuff like that, people think there's something wrong with you, or you're some kind of weird snob or something. But it's not that. It's just, we've had our minds blown, and you can't, there's no going back, right? There's no, what's the saying about you can't go back and live on the farm after you've seen Paris, or whatever the fuck that phrase is.
Yeah. I mean, you know, I've not heard that one before. I was just going to say, once you've seen it, you can't unsee it, you know?
Yeah.
Bit shorter and snappier, that one, you know what I'm saying?
I may adopt it.
I don't think I remember yours, but it was a good one. It was a good one.
Yeah.
I can listen back.
No, but you're right, actually, because as soon as you've seen the top end of action, and the top end of action exists in Hong Kong and Taiwan, it you know, what the best of Hong Kong, Taiwan action is better than anywhere, any other cinema around the globe. It's just the top end of action, isn't it?
And even
I think now I'm not snobby about it, but I can't deny that when I was younger, I think I did you know, look down upon the other stuff. So when people were telling me they've just seen Bloodsport and it's brilliant, obviously at that point, you know, I respect those films now. I like Van Damme now, but back then, of course, I went, I've just, you know, I'm watching Police Story here. What are we saying? I've just seen him going down a pole and this, that, and the other, and kicking blokes onto escalators, and I've seen all that, and I try and show them, and they're going, "Yeah, I know, but look at this Bloodsport. It's crap."
Right.
And in comparison, it is crap, and it's still crap in comparison to it now, you know. But my mature eyes look at it a lot differently, and I go, "No, I'm all right with it now because I'm not a little kid anymore, and it's not about." We did the same with video games, you know, Mega Drive versus SNES, and Amiga versus Master System at the time, and we were doing all that. It was the same for me. It was the same with films. I loved this stuff so much that I was a bit protective of it, and I was trying to sell it, not sell it to people, as in share it. You know, I remember in school, my English, I don't know what you call it, the chat bit you have to do in English, not the writing bit, whatever that bit is called, the exam. I did that on Bruce Lee. when the Incredibly Strange Film Show came on telly, before it came on telly, I knew it was coming on telly. I went into school and told as many people as I could tell. And none of them cared, none of them were interested. But I'd stand in front of the class and go, guys, the teachers were pretty good. They weren't good in that school, but with that stuff, if you showed a passion, they kind of went, yeah, we'll tell people about it. And I used to say to people, it's on this day, this time, and it's got Jackie Chan in it, bloke I've been trying to tell you about all this time. I had kids round my house, and it was always kung fu, kung fu, kung fu. I was 100% spreading the word with it, So when they showed me their versions, I'd go, nah. It was actually part of the reason I'd say, no, come round after school. And I'll show you proper stuff. So yeah.
I think as well, when you're younger, it's part of your development as well, isn't it, to take things from other places to create your own personality. So after you're a bit older and you've grown up and you've become your own, you can relax a little bit, and you're not demonstrating your own knowledge or putting yourself together. So you can, same here, I now can enjoy those things like blood sport and kickboxer more than back in the day, because I'm not comparing, or even a slightly more recent example, but I remember still going back, like almost 20 years now. But I remember, like, Kill Bill came out, fair enough. But around the same time, or a couple of years later, there was the Korean film City of Violence. And I was like, fucking hell, that's how you do it. Like, that's how that scene, the Crazy 88 or whatever, which is really good for a Hollywood production. But you see. But that's how.
You added a caveat there. Is caveat a French word, fellas? Caveat. Is it? I don't know.
It sounds French.
Right. Well, about half of English is French anyway. So.
Oh, is it? Okay. All right. Well, there you go. You had the caveat in there, though, right? Because you weren't just going to say, "Oh, it's brilliant." You just said for Clive, right? You just said for a Hollywood film. Yeah, this is good. But I didn't like Kill Bill though.
I wasn't huge on the first part. No. Second part.
See, I liked Kill Bill instantly, and I think it works as essentially a cheaper film, doesn't it? I mean, that's essentially what it is, isn't it? It's not the film I'll die on the hill of, to defend. I just personally enjoyed it.
Nothing wrong with that. That you always have to ask yourself that question, which is what I can do with Bloodsport.
But you're right.
I enjoy it.
But you're right, actually, because the one bit when I watch Kill Bill, I'll go back to Kill Bill every once in a while. It'd be like, I don't know, 5 years or something. If it's on telly, I'll just switch it on and watch it. But the one element of Kill Bill that fails completely for me is that Crazy 88 sequence and the criminal underutilization of Golden View.
Well, this is the thing. I was torn with that film because I went to see it at the cinema. I quite liked Tarantino at that point because I'd seen Reservoir Dogs, which I really liked.
I like Tarantino,
yeah. I wasn't really bothered about what came in between that. What are the other big ones? The one with the Travolta doing all the dancing and all that crap.
Pulp Fiction,
that's it. Right now, listen. Right, my computer's going to run out of battery. I need to go and get my charger.
Okay.
And it's got to be quick because hang on.
All right. Whoa. Why don't we? Oh, he's good. No.
It's all right.
I was going to suggest.
I can cut this out or keep it in, depending on how amusing it is.
Yeah. But what I'm also suggesting is wrapping this segment up and getting into the films anyway. So if it falls into a natural sort of lull.
I only just noticed that Steve has behind him what Nick would refer to as the granny's door.
The granny's door, yeah. That's quite good. We really should. Why not a sequel?
We should do stuff like that.
Yeah, but I'm torn because the low rent is kind of our.
It's very us.
It is us. Yeah.
I wouldn't be me without some boxes behind me.
No, exactly. Right, so when he comes back, why don't we just cut it there and then all come back and start on the films?
All right, fair enough. See how long he takes.
If that's a natural sort of place to.
I am tempted to keep this in though because this is. Oh, there you go.
Oh yeah.
Well, you've got to listen. It's real stuff, isn't it, boys? You know what I'm saying?
This is real life, Steve. This is you know,
it
no
happens.
frills. There's no frills, and it's real. You know, we're about. Yeah.
You don't. I mean, I had to go quite far for that, and I'm not out of breath. What does that tell you?
Did you have to go around the curve?
No, I think it was a bend.
Ah, I see.
Are you actually plugged in now?
I am plugged in, yeah.
Yeah, okay, excellent. We'll carry on then.
Yeah, I'm all good. Oh, yeah, Kill Bill. Listen, that film, disappointed because, like you say, Pulp Fiction, all that stuff that came in between, I weren't really a fan of those, didn't like them that much. But Kill Bill, I got a little bit excited because I'd heard that this guy, Tarantino, was into the Kung Fus. There'd been interviews, articles and stuff that said he loves Shaw Brothers and this, that, and the other. Then he said he's going to make a Kung Fu film, and I see who's in it, and I get excited. Shouldn't have got excited, but I did. And then when I went to see it, things happened. So I don't remember because I have literally only seen it once. And I saw the Shaw Brothers logo come up at the start, I believe. There was little things that made me go, hey, so he does know. He does know.
Right.
Then Gordon's in it, right? One of my top blokes. And I go, oh, you know, thanks. That's brilliant. Giving Gordon a bit of shine, using Gordon. This is fantastic. Love it. But then obviously I watched it and I was disappointed. The things that annoy me is this guy who's making this film professes to know what we know about these films. To watch them with our eyes and see what we're seeing, hence him being inspired and making things like Kill Bill. When you have that, I'm always bemused at what I see in front of me. Like Man with the Iron Fists. You've got this guy, RZA, who professes to love and know this stuff and says it's brilliant. And then you watch that and you go, do you? But I don't want to be disrespectful because I'm not trying to make a commercially successful Hollywood film with producers and money. I'm not, but it doesn't matter. Just from a fan's point of view, I look at these things and go, well, I believe you, but you're not showing me.
Yeah,
I know.
I had a.
Yeah, no, go on, Daz.
I was going to say, on the topic of Man with the Iron Fists, I had a disagreement on the podcast with Clive because I liked Man with the Iron Fists, and Clive, I believe,
no, I did
vehemently disliked it.
Yeah,
I watched it again. I was not correct to like that film.
See, that normally is the second viewing that you enjoy more. Normally,
I know, yeah.
Not with every film, because
he was trying to pay homage, and I kind of respect him for that. And he was doing his best.
Yes,
and Chen Quan Tai's in it, and that's nice.
I don't even remember him in it.
And I like Russell Crowe in it because Russell Crowe is now.
Yeah, well, see, I love Russell Crowe. That's another thing. I went, well, Crowe's in it. So forget about the Kung Fu connection. Let's just forget that. It's a crow. And I went, no, this ain't a crow. This is just
no.
Well, I will say...
Is he a cowboy in it?
He's what?
Is he a cowboy in it?
He might be.
He's like
he shouts a lot. I just remember him shouted a lot.
Yeah, see?
He's like an aristocrat bounty hunter or some shit, isn't it? He's like,
The thing is that I don't doubt their... And nowadays, especially recently, Tarantino was on something talking about Lee Cho Nam, and so he does know his stuff.
He knows his shit.
Their level of fandom, but no, you're quite right. Kill Bill isn't what I would have expected someone demonstrating their love would have made, and neither is Man in the Iron. There's like, I don't know, the bits are there. Obviously, you know, there's a lot of Wang Yu in Man in the Iron Fist, but it's just the recipe is all fucked up. At least.
Right.
From my perspective.
And I think particularly with Kill Bill, I think that Tarantino put too many elements in it.
Yeah.
So what he should, you know, he had the kudos, right? He had the reputation and he had the money, right? And the backing to do anything the fuck he wanted.
Exactly. It's very self-indulgent, isn't it?
But conversely, why didn't he just make a kung fu film? Just make a straight up kung fu film with, well, I suppose,
but that's always the thing with him, though, isn't it? Maybe is he bangs on about how much he loves old exploitation films, which he does. But the one thing he doesn't do, which all those films do, is he doesn't use brevity. All his films fucking over 2 hours.
Whoa, whoa,
Apart from
brevity.
Reservoir Dogs, which is
That don't sound French, but it's too long. What's brevity? Now, what's brevity? Please.
Like being concise, like boiling it down and being brief.
So they're all quite overindulgent and bloated, right?
With the exception, I would say, and Death Proof.
Yeah, but even Death Proof, I was going to say with the exception of Death Proof, but the thing is, Death Proof in the director's cut or it is also over 2 hours long, whatever, right? It's
I didn't even know there's a direct. The version I've seen is like 70 minutes or something.
Yeah, that's the Grindhouse one with Planet Terror.
Yeah,
but if you see it separately, it's another long ass Tarantino film.
It's not. I didn't even know that.
Yeah. So I believe Steve was about to protest something.
I was about to protest something. You're right. You read the body language. You said earlier on that where you grew up, there was no literature and stuff, but then brevity came out. So I'm thinking that wood green is obviously the start of the literature skills.
That's right. That's where we learned.
Was it faux pas? Was it faux pas?
Yeah, we had a great old sage called Mr. Mittal who taught us how to read and write. He was our landlord. Yeah.
Brevity.
Yeah, look it up.
Look, I had to bring it up, right? Because I'm not ashamed, but there's going to be a lot of people watching this that are going to be sitting there going brevity.
So I'm confused. I thought you were going to protest something else. Are you just protesting the use of the word brevity?
Yeah, that's right. I was protesting that you said that you didn't have literature, but that you're saying brevity.
I see. Right,
yeah, it's kind of it's a contradiction. Long one, that contradiction.
Yeah,
contradiction. 4 syllables.
3 letters, isn't it? Yeah.
No.
All our books are written on leaves back home as well. It's just like leaves.
Yes, and then we'd use it to wipe our ass, and then it was gone forever.
That's it. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And we were all walking around like Fahrenheit 451, just repeating what used to be on leaves.
Yeah.
Leaves, right? Oh, that's why. Yeah, okay, yeah, leaves. But listen, guys, that's going to lead me on to Forbidden Kingdom, because there's a film.
Oh no, yeah, I'm interested in that.
Understandably, because it had not understandably, but I was still happy to give the Hollywoody Jackie Chan, Jet Li stuff a go. Then I still am now, but I'm just saying then I was more so because I'd seen Shanghai Noon and whatnot, and I thought that was wicked. I thought it was good, right? And Rush Hour was good, so I went, yeah, let's watch this one. Not expecting much from it, not knowing anything about it, not having any background on it. And as soon as that credits rolled, and by the time it got to that end credits, I went, whoever made this film knows. That guy, he done a wicked job, in my opinion, of molding the two, showing his influence, and it still being a Hollywood film, but pleasing someone like me. That film I liked a lot. It's good.
Hang on. Is that Forbidden City, the walled-in one? That one?
No, Forbidden Kingdom. Jackie Chan and Jet Li.
Sorry.
You know,
Yeah. No, sorry. Yeah.
You've seen it?
Because it's the bit.
Yeah, but Clive's face is telling me he ain't seen it.
He's quite quick, this Steve, isn't he? Yeah. No.
One of them.
I've seen it. I'm not a fan.
Isn't Jet Li the Monkey King? That's the one where Jet Li's the Monkey King, isn't it?
Yeah. Is it?
Or he does like a Monkey King thing. Yeah. I've seen it. Yeah,
it's good. Yeah, it's good. Fun. It has the elements in there. You can see the influence, and then because of that, I went, I've got to find out. Look, I don't remember. This was a long time ago, but I found out, read about the director and about this film, and he does love and grew up watching kung fu films, and you could tell, So yeah.
Well, right. I believe we were going to talk you've chosen 2 films. Which 2 did you choose, Steve, to talk about?
I don't know if I was ready to move on to those. I thought we were having really good chats before.
We were, but I've only got an hour, so.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. Okay, right. My apologies. Okay, I need to ask something before we go into this. Earlier on, you called. This is hard. This mirroring camera stuff. Wait a minute. You called Darren Daz, and I need to know. Is that a wood green Welsh thing, or am I allowed? I just need to know. I don't know who I'm asking here.
You can call me Daz.
Are we all good, Daz?
It's all right. Yeah.
All right. I'm just checking because sometimes, it's
that's all right. Well, why don't
mates thing? You know
why
what
don't we make it? Yeah. Well, why don't we make it official?
I don't. Otherwise it's going to get a bit. What do they call it? A bit clicky. You know what I mean?
The thing is that people will assume it's just short for
No,
powder, but it's actually not. It's actually
No.
because it's his favorite washing powder.
It is.
That's right. That still
I
exists
do-
as washing powder? Because I haven't seen it. Does
Good
it?
question.
Or is that gone now?
I have a feeling that you can only get Daz washing powder in liquid form these days.
I mean, what a brilliant thing to know.
I think, well, you did ask, so.
No, I know. I'm impressed.
And this is the sort of cut-in themes of the day.
Well, here's some more breaking news. We don't have Daz in Japan.
No.
Yeah.
So hang on.
Right. Well, you're missing out.
No doorstep
I knew it as a child.
Well, hang on. So Shane Ritchie doesn't go knocking on doors in Japan.
Shane Ritchie is not welcome here.
No,
who's this person? You oh, it probably ain't a person.
It used to be an advert on the telly where Shane Ritchie, who
Ritchie was a Ritchie. Yeah, he used to go and basically, I don't know.
Yeah, he used to
about it
like,
or something. Yeah,
harass people about.
Harass them. Yeah.
Hang on,
harass them about their stains.
I know exactly who you mean. I remember who Shane Ritchie is. Who's the bloke? Who's the bloke who had a name very similar to Shane Ritchie, but he was a fat bloke with a moustache, and he was in funny things on telly. I can't remember. He wasn't one of.
Oh,
what was his name? It's something like Shane Ritchie, isn't it?
Are you talking? So did he have an act, and he was like proper East London Cockney, and he used to sometimes put a stocking over his head? Is that the one?
No. No,
okay.
Yeah, I can't think. The guy I'm thinking of, was he on like Russ Abbott or something like that? Or...
Oh God, no.
I love Russ Abbott, brilliant one.
See,
you love
an atmosphere. I love a party. Right?
I was just about to make a joke on atmosphere. Well done, Steve.
Yeah, some people like Joy Division's atmosphere, while others prefer Russ Abbott's cover version.
Yeah, he's
bit more cheerful.
What? That's a cover.
Yeah, of Joy Division.
I don't know. I thought it was a Ridge Abbott. You've ruined it.
Sorry.
It don't matter. It's better anyway. It's better. It's better. Yeah, I don't need to hear the Ridge tonight. It's better. That's the only one I know. That's it. That's it.
He had some lovely jumpers though, Russ Abbott, didn't he?
Right. Seeing as he's not going to tell us, I'm going to tell you what you've chosen. First, you've chosen.
Oh no, I'm going to tell. Okay, go on.
Burning Paradise. Why did you choose Burning Paradise then to begin with? What's all this about? What's the thinking behind this one? I think we've all seen before, right?
Yeah. And also, sorry, I'm going to preface this before Steve goes in. I am going to thank Steve for giving us the excuse to talk about Burning Paradise.
Yes. Yeah.
Because I have been itching to talk about Burning Paradise on this podcast forever. So yeah.
Well, I'm presuming that part of this Burning Paradise chat is going to be what I think of the film. So maybe you will regret that because you guys didn't ask me to pick films that I liked. You just asked me to pick films. Now, I'm not giving you any clues of what I think of it. I'm going to first answer the question, which is why this film? So I rebought it recently.
Right.
And that's why. Simply because it was fresh in my mind. I just watched it when you mentioned it and I went, well, some films don't leave here because they're ingrained, because I watched them when I was younger and my brain was probably better qual. But more importantly, I watched them over and over and over again. Right. We had less distractions, less things to do. So I just watched these films and I also had less films to watch. So when I finally got Dragon Lord X rental and I bought it off them after renting it hundreds of times and they said, yeah, you can buy that one now. I then owned Dragon Lord Big Box X rental, still own it. That film got smashed to bits because I had that and maybe, Snake and Eagle Shadow and Drunken Master and not much else. So I got watched over and over again. So those films, I could probably chat to you about them all day and not have to rewatch them. I wouldn't do any prep. I wouldn't do anything. I would simply just go, yeah, no worries. We'll chat about that. But any films that are a bit later or any films that I even watched last night, I can't remember them. So I thought I'm going to have to pick something, unless I want to pick one of my true beloved classics, which honestly, I don't. I want to choose some different stuff. Then I'm going to have to go with something that I watched recently. So I'd never bought this when this Eureka one came out. I think I have it made in Hong Kong on VHS. If I have, I do know where it would be, but I just don't remember if I own it or not. As a matter of fact, I know I've seen this film before, but I think I've seen it at the cinema. That sounds weird, I know, but I'm pretty sure I have. That chopping the horse's head off, we'll get there in a minute. I know I've seen that bit on a cinema screen. Whether that was a clip or a trailer, I don't remember. But I think I saw it at the cinema, this film, once. I'm guessing Baker showed it or something. Then, and by the way, my thoughts back then, if you ask me, because I know the film, following Hong Kong cinema, I know the film, because it's quite a big popular one at the time. My thoughts are Burning Paradise. Had you asked me in 1995 or whatever, I know it was released before that, but say had you asked me in the 90s, I would have said to you, nah, rubbish.
Ah, interesting.
Right? That's what I would have said to you. But we've just mentioned earlier that we change our perceptions. Not only that, since the 90s, I have seen loads of crap Hong Kong Kung Fu films that I thought were going to be brilliant that ain't, obviously, because they just got worse as time went on. But when you go back a bit further, which would never used to be far, right? It used to be the time. Now, early 90s is ages ago. So I say to myself, if I watch these films now, they're probably good because they were bad then, but they've had all this other crap in between. So if I go back now, I think they're going to mash up the newer stuff, right? So when I saw this, I went, you know what? I really want to rewatch this because I want to know, do I actually like this film or not? Because I think I'm going to view it with different eyes. So that is why I chose Burning Paradise. Not because I love it, not because I'm a fan of it. Two reasons. I just watched it, but I also told you why I rebought it. I was very, very interested to rewatch this film because I was certain Ringo Lam and an early 90s would be way better than I remembered.
Yeah, no, it's interesting, isn't it? That I totally agree with you. Like, we were quite snobby back in the day as well. Like, of course, we enjoyed Once Upon a Time in China and stuff like that. But almost straight away, we were kind of more interested in the old school stuff, right?
Yeah.
And kind of poo-pooing what was new. And like you said, that got worse as it went along. But now, of course, that time in the 90s it's finite now, right? There's only a certain amount of films. And going back and what, like, a good example was for the other thing with was it for another thing we do? Oh, I might not have even, no, it wasn't, sorry, Darren. I watched Midnight Conjure, which is this thing which Lam Ching Ying's barely in. It's kind of...
Yeah, okay, I don't know it. I've not seen it, and I've not even heard of it.
91, it's a kind of wuxia time travel thing. Absolute fucking mess of a film. But the thing is, it's got that mad wuxia wire work, I think it's Taiwanese, early 90s stuff, that they just don't do anymore. So it's 100 times more fascinating and valuable than it would be now, was back then, because they just don't do that anymore. So it's a much more, I would have just there, back in the day, you'd say, whatever, but now you realize it's an endangered species, so it becomes
it's like we were talking on another show. I think actually it was not this podcast, another one. Might have been in Shaw School or not in Shaw School, but we were chatting. I remember mentioning, or someone mentioned, Leo Klein mentioned Storm Riders, right?
Oh, yeah.
So yeah, right. Yeah, and I have the same reaction. Right? I hated Storm Riders when it came out.
Yeah, me
too.
It
was the biggest pile of shit that I've ever seen. Right?
Ooh,
with pretty boys trying to do wuxia kung fu, right, and failing, and everything CGI, and I thought it was terrible. Right?
Yep.
However, that film actually falls into the same bracket that you were talking about, Clyde, doesn't it?
Right.
That film actually falls into 90s madness.
Yeah, it's more interesting now than when it was new, for sure. Because
they don't
make things like that anymore.
Yeah. Not that I'm.
We couldn't know this, right? None of us. We've had this same experience. because we're old veterans, right? We've had this same experience, all of us, where at the time we didn't even think about at some point these films will be different. We'll view them different. We had no idea what was going to come in between Burning Paradise and now. We had no idea, and it's so weird to look back at these films and go, all right, well, what do I think? What do I think now? You know, I remember what I thought then, but what do I think now? Because what in between then and now, there has been a lot of different things, you know. So it's interesting. So it's good that we're going to have a chat about it, right?
Yeah. So have you changed your mind on Burning Paradise?
Yeah, then? A little bit. Yeah, no, a lot of it.
Yeah.
A little bit, but a little bit.
He's gonna
Yeah.
Come on, so you guys know this stuff.
This is not the first time we've had Whizbit on the podcast.
Yes, unfortunately, we shouldn't bring up Whizbit. Whizbit's not good.
Why?
The only interesting thing about Whizbit, I didn't realize. I'm wondering if this might blow your mind actually, because it blew my mind when I discovered the Whizbit song, right?
Yeah, it's brilliant.
Yeah, that's an old Lead Belly song.
Oh, is it? Oh,
That's
okay.
a cover
That's
version
cool.
of a fucking Lead Belly song from like the 30s or something.
Well, it's another Russ Abbott for me.
Yeah,
The cover's better. Yeah,
Paul Daniels version.
Yeah, and it's got my
Get
mum
off
always
our
used to...
show, Steve.
No, I used to watch it, and my mum used to walk in the room and go, "Can't they wash that rabbit suit? It's all dirty."
This
is
is
meant to
actually
be
a
white.
good point. Yes, he's
that's almost worth going back and watching an episode of Whizbit for to see how dirty the rabbit costume is.
He's as bad as the ice cream bunny in Santa and the Ice Cream Bunny, right? He's got that kind of look.
Yeah.
Funny how these things all connect, right? Because Whizbit obviously don't use Daz.
There you go.
There we go.
Yeah,
and of course, the famous, never completed, sadly, Ringo Lam Whizbit remake that he almost made after Burning Paradise.
Yeah. And the Ringo Lam doorstep challenge where he just throws a Molotov cocktail into the open door.
Yeah. You don't have to worry about the laundry anymore, and blows up Shane Ritchie as well at the same time. Hey.
Yeah, that'll be all right.
Yes. Funny how we're all so educated and know these things, and I haven't lived in Wood Green before, so I've done all right, even though I ain't been there. I've been there, but I haven't lived there.
Yeah. That's exactly what Wood Green's like. If you watch like School on Fire, that's exactly what it's like,
Where do we want to go with this? Where are we starting with this film? We're going to have a chat about Burning Paradise, are we?
Yeah. So
should we do a mini little plot synopsis? Do you want to do that, Daz?
Yeah.
Me?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so Shaolin Temple gets burned down. The Feng Sayuk and the various Shaolin heroes and all the abbots and all that are being sort of pounded out of town. Feng Sayuk and his abbot doesn't get captured, he gets killed quite brutally. Feng Sayuk's hiding out, meets up with the girl. They get captured and taken to the Red Lotus Temple, which is basically a prison camp and hell on earth.
Yeah, full of traps.
And it's run by KK Wong, who is a mental psychopathic.
He's just a prison warden. I mean, it's just a warden.
Well, I don't know.
Isn't he?
He's on for me, he's on another level on perversion. But he runs out, and there's various traps, and there's a little bit of double cross on some of the other prisoners, and then eventually they have to fight this mad artist, rapist, possibly slightly supernatural kind of dude.
There's Wong Kam Kong, right, who plays. There's a lot of. We should mention there's a lot of. So this was shot in mainland China as well, right? So
yeah,
and a lot of the cast are mainland Chinese as well, right? As opposed to Hong Kong talent, so they're not necessarily as recognizable.
No.
For me, I had thought just before we get into it, I don't know how this had got past my memory, because my memory was the opposite of Steve's, and similar to Daz. We both fucking loved this film back in the day, and I think I might have slightly overstated it in my memory, even though it's still rollicking good fun. It didn't quite reach my memory of it. But I had forgotten somehow that there was a flying guillotine in it.
Yeah. It's a bad CGI crescent guillotine.
Yeah, but there's not
crescent
too
one.
much of it. Yeah, there's not too much of it. Yeah,
it's not really a flying guillotine.
Yeah,
well, as we discussed before, flying guillotines are concertinas like an umbrella.
Yeah,
and they're red, and then blades shoot out the bottom, and they're the only acceptable flying
although
guillotines.
This flying guillotine seems actually a lot more plausible as something that might work in the real.
Yeah, it looks a little bit more like a traditional Chinese weapon, doesn't it?
And I was very pleased to find out that the Hong Kong Movie Database has the flying guillotine has its own page, like a cast member page.
Yeah,
so
I saw that.
Look up all the flying guillotine films, which is good.
I saw that. It's so stupid. Yeah, it's just that flying guillotine. Who's that?
It's stupid, but it's invaluable. Also, I think.
It's brilliant as well, right? Yeah, it's what Kung's all about. But so that pretty much is the plot. We've seen plenty of films. No, we haven't seen lots of films like this, but we have seen lots of films with this premise, if you like. You know. So the title of this film, Burning Paradise. For Sil Hong Lin-ji, which is burned down the Red Lotus Temple. So it is quite literal to what Daz just said. It literally is about this Shaolin burning down. And we've had this plenty of times before. Now, I found it interesting that you said Fong Sai Yuk. So is that what you grew up with? No, that's what I would say too, right?
Yeah. Well, it's Cantonese versus Mandarin, isn't it?
Yeah, you know, when I grew up watching the old Shaw Brothers films, it was always Fong Si Yu. And it wasn't until years later that, well, I know it's his name as well, but you know what I mean? That I decided that no, his name is actually Fong Sai Yuk.
If I was being clever, right? If I was pretending to be clever, I would say, well, the dialogue in this film is Cantonese, and so I use the Cantonese pronunciation. That's not in any way the reason I used.
No, it's because we watched the Jet Li films.
Because I was thinking about
Jet
Li films.
It was only then. It was only then, like you say, that then the film started to be called, Fong Sai Yuk. But before that, I didn't know that the two people. The reason I brought it up is because of the way I was brought up on that character. Obviously, I knew he was in loads of films, right? Because I'm watching these films, and this Fong Si Yu character is in another film. And when the Fong Sai Yuk come out, I didn't initially make that connection that they were the same person. Or the same character. I didn't know that.
It's totally different vibe. I mean, okay, you've got the competition with the spikes, the platform spikes, right? In both iterations of Fong Sai Yuk, Fang Shi Yuk. But if you're watching Shaw Brothers and
you're referring to Temple of the Red Lotus now, right? The 65 version.
No. I'm talking
Heroes 2.
No, I'm talking about Heroes 2.
Shaolin Temple, all that stuff.
Yeah. So I'm talking about Fu Sheng versus Jet Li. It's just they're kind of, it's like they're incompatible, isn't it? It's like they're not like But
the thing is, I wouldn't have seen those films until after anyway, so I wouldn't have.
Right.
I don't think I think Jet Li introduced the character Fong Sai Yuk for me.
I think I'm kind of borderline. I think I saw Men from the Monastery possibly before I saw Fong Sai Yuk. But it would have been a very similar time that I saw them. So,
but it's interesting, we've talked about this before a little bit. It's quite fascinating how martial arts cinema in general mines the kind of historical and the mythological and stuff, and makes almost no attempt to clear that up for local audiences because they know, right? And it would be quite possible to watch Burning Paradise, without any context, and you would not know that Fong Sai Yuk is a legendary hero, right? You would know. It's just it's that bloke in it, it's Willie T from Drunken Master 3. So it's good to know. I like the fact that these films work without the context, but then if you have the context, it just kind of makes it more interesting to nerd up on. So that's the same guy. It
actually, as you say, doesn't make any difference until you know it. Then it can make a difference to you, but you don't have to know. It's the same as Drunken Master, right? He was called Freddie Wong. I didn't know it was Wong Fei Hung. I didn't know he was playing Wong Fei Hung. Yeah, it didn't change nothing. Still my favorite film. It just doesn't mean anything. But when you find out, you go, oh,
yeah,
he's actually now I know that Jackie Chan has played Wong Fei Hung. You know.
Yeah, but it also doesn't make a lot of sense. And it's weird actually. I tell you what's really weird is the fact that Liu Lang made Drunken Master 2. Right, well, kind of.
Yeah.
Made Drunken Master 2. Who's in that lineage, right? That's his style, right? He's descended from Wong Fei Hung, right?
Yes.
But the whole drunken boxing thing's got fuck all to do with.
Yeah, well, that's what I was going to say as well. Is there's this Wong Fei Hung and then there's that Wong Fei Hung, and never the twain shall meet, right? But never the twain, another classic. But you know, it's interesting. Like you know, if you don't know, it doesn't matter. But then, yeah, like the more knowledge, then you can kind of put all this thing together and kind of contemplate. Well, why is that? Where did that? When did that start? And sometimes you find out, oh, it's actually just in the 80s when they made that hit film and they decided just to. And then other times it's actually something really old embedded in some ancient text or something like that. And you never can quite tell which is which, right? Which is endlessly fascinating.
Yeah, exactly. So I just think it's interesting. So I'd bring that up about the Fong Sai-yuk, and it's the same with his, what would you call his mate?
Which one?
The one played by Yang Sheng here, the traitorous one.
Yeah,
I want to say Hung Si. I want to say Hung Si Quan, but it's not Hung Si.
See what I mean?
What's it called?
See,
you
see, so Fong Sai-yuk he used the Cantonese, and when it came to Hung Si Quan, he used the Mandarin version. So,
but it's not Hung Si Quan. It's a different character. It's a different person, but I can't remember the name.
Well, we still say Liu Chen.
No, Hung Si Quan's the bloke I wanted you to mention, but I'm saying now you've mentioned Hung Si Quan, you used the Heroes 2 Men from the Monastery version.
Yeah, because there's not a that's it. Sorry, yeah.
Hung Hei Gun, but Hung Si Quan.
Yeah.
So the same bloke, but it's interesting that we have this mix of.
Well, I can't get out of my head calling Liu Chen Liu Lang either. I mean, that's a problem for some people, right? But
I get it. Yeah, I get it. It just depends how you first know them, your first experience on. But it's good learning all this stuff. Now, this film was considered a flop, wasn't it, at the box office? So not only did I think it was crap at the time, the Hong Kong audience thought it was crap, right?
They were wrong. They were wrong.
Well, they're mate, right? It's all about timing with this stuff. This came out after Once Upon a Time in China and all that, didn't it?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, well after, yeah.
And it's kind of out of character for Ringo Lam as well, it seems, because it's not urban, it's not modern day, right? It's
it's the only traditional he's done, isn't it?
Yeah, and the other thing about it as well, I suppose, which is, so you got Choi Hark as producer, and Choi Hark, like a notoriously hands-on producer, right? And they'd co-directed Twin Dragons, right? You do wonder, because you can see it. There's that Choi Hark touch on this, right? There's that weird kind of his take on what Spielberg and people like that did. It's a very Choi Hark kind of thing, but at the same time, it also feels quite Ringo Lam as well. It's got that edge that Ringo Lam brings to things.
Well, because I think Ringo Lam, because Ringo Lam in the late 80s, early 90s. Is as dangerous as Choi Hark was in the late 70s, early 80s.
Right. Yeah.
So having Choi Hark behind Ringo Lam in the 90s is like an intensification of his edginess. And this is a fucking edgy film in my opinion.
Without doubt.
This is going dark, and something you don't see too much, not even in the category 3 stuff, really. Is this like really dark humor, really black dark humor.
Let's take it in that order then, because you've mentioned that, and it is a dark film. There's a bit there that didn't work for me. The dark film I liked, the traps, the fire, the dungeons. I liked all of that. I liked the feel of the film. I liked the atmosphere of the film. but then there was loads of rubbish jokes in it. The comedy, not
Yeah,
loads.
I'd forgotten about that as well, oddly enough.
Yeah, I forgot about the
gone out of my
comedy.
head. Yeah.
I don't remember it at the time. I only remember it at the rewatch. I went, that was inappropriate. That was crap timing. That didn't work. That ruined that scene. There was some intense scenes where I was like, I was engrossed, and it reminded me it was a film by chucking in a rubbish throwaway comedy line. I don't know what you guys thought about that.
All things relative. It's not as jarring as Hong Kong comedy can be in the middle of a film, right? So it's not. It doesn't ruin the film, I don't think. But yeah,
because there's no comedy scenes. There's just bits of comedy lines, basically. Yeah.
Yeah. Also, seeing it in HD, which I'm glad to see as well, though. But there's also something about having seen it in a kind of hazy oldie VHS, which makes a bit more sense because that pit looks a lot more grungy in my memory than now. It looks a little bit more tidied up than I remember it, and slightly hellish.
I have to say, I did find the old monk in the plague pit hilarious.
Oh,
which I don't remember. I did find that funny.
Well, that's good that you did, but to me, I was looking at a very, what could have been an emotional, intense scene. They're in that hut. We know who's outside. There's loads of soldiers. They ain't going to mess about. You're going to get mashed.
No, the one in the pit. The one.
The bloke in the pit. Oh yeah. I know. Yeah, the old Shaolin bloke in there. Yeah. That he was quite good. So I suppose that kind of was a bit of a, I don't know. It was a bit of light-hearted. It was a pretty dark, intense film. So it was okay to throw that in there. I think.
For me though, actually, I'm going back to that other scene at the start, right? So that other scene where, because FightClan is escaping with his abbot, isn't he? Yeah. And they hide in the hut, and that's where they meet the girl, and then they get captured, and the abbot gets killed by the guards. But it's before that, as you were saying, you've got this whole business about where did the handprint come from? Right. Who groped the girl? Right. Who groped the girl when they were hiding together? Right.
Yeah, and kind of having a joke when they're their fate is definitely sealed. There's tons of them outside. They ain't getting out of that.
Yeah, but what I liked about it was how it switched. Right. So it went straight from comedy into it wasn't, it wasn't like, it's not like, because what Ringo Lam's doing really well in this is he's not using Hammer horror Shaw Brothers blood, is he? He's using realistic, dark brown blood, and that's how that abbot gets killed. So this one minute you're looking at, you're messing about with the abbot and the girl and ha 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 ha, and then all of a sudden he's got a big fucking sword through him. And he's all messed up, and all the blood's brown, and he's all dusty, and it's horrible. And
I definitely agree with that. It made that bit more shocking because I weren't expecting it. Because to me, they were having a laugh, and then I didn't expect that old monk to get done, and he did. And he didn't just get done. I mean, he got mashed. So
exactly,
it did sort of give you that impression of, oh, it's all comedy, and then, like you say, made it a bit more of a shock to go, hang on, this ain't a joke. And actually, now you've put it that way, I'm going to agree. You've made me sort of look at it in a different way. The fact that even those characters were having a laugh and a joke and weren't taking it that serious because he's an accomplished martial artist, he can handle himself. And once he sees the monk get done, that's kind of a switch in his brain to go, this ain't a joke. He gets chained up and dragged off and taken to that prison. So you know what? Maybe obviously it was by design because it was put in there, but you have kind of made me think differently about it. Although I thought the comedy was a bit crap, it does make a difference to the way the characters behave after that they have to take this, not the film, because obviously they're in the film, but this scenario much more serious because it ain't.
Yeah, that's the thing. I think it ramped up, that particular scene ramped up the tension.
The scene that surprised me the most in terms of what's that doing in there was the shrimping scene. All of a sudden, everything stops, and he's sucking on her toes. And I thought, here we go. That's where that. I understand you throw in something gratuitous for the lads, but it's not usually that.
Yeah.
An odd
yeah,
choice.
but also it doesn't that takes place right near the end as well.
Yes, exactly.
When they're in that
chaos is fucking breaking out and they
yeah,
start.
but also it actually happens, if I remember rightly, I might be wrong. If I remember rightly, that happens in this like secret gallery.
Yes, because she gets bitten by a snake.
Yeah, with all the like the desiccated, like all the like almost mummified corpses of all his previous concubines.
The Raiders of the Lost Ark scene, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's it. Yeah. You see some of them breathing, don't you? I don't know if you noticed that in this HD version.
Oh yeah.
Loads of it. Yeah.
Well, that's HD, isn't it? That's HD for you.
I think that's the thing, though, isn't it? Is the thing for this film that elevates it a little bit is that it's the traps, isn't it? It's the whole traps element.
Oh no, that stuff's wicked. Yeah.
There's no such thing as too many. And Ringo Lam has definitely watched 18 Bronze Men before he's made this film, because you've got the tattoo thing, right? You've got the tattoo thing between him and Hung Si Kwan, and you've got the traps, like the spiky wall coming at you, and
My favorite trap is the one where if you burn the incense, it affects the pressure and guns come out the wall. I didn't expect that on the rewatch. That was kind of fun.
Yeah, and it's a massacre as well, isn't it? And it's all the monks.
I think the thing with Ringo Lam as well is he's a smart cook, he's a dead cookie now, but so like I think he knows in advance that his film is going to be somewhat taken over by Choi Hak. So I think he's factored that in. So it's not overwhelming. He's like, look, I know Choi's gonna get involved. He's gonna stick his nose in, but that's okay. I'm prepared for it. Yeah. I don't know that for sure, but I suspect that he's, because he strikes me as someone who knew how to play the game, right? And he knew when to rise and when not. So he knew he wasn't making one of his on fire films. Like, you know. I think that would have been more problematic. He wouldn't have wanted someone getting involved with the school on fire or something like that, because that's a very different proposition, and that has to be serious, and that doesn't have, as far as I remember, but you can never tell with Hong Kong cinema, that didn't have, humorous scenes and
So look, this prostitute that he meets, so we're going to obviously stick on the cast here. This prostitute he meets at the beginning, I mean, she's a bit good qual for a prostitute, isn't she? What I mean?
You're obviously frequenting the wrong places, Steve.
No, yeah. It was a surprise for me. I just thought, blimey, I mean, just... And then, what's his name? Oh, well, Fong Sai-yuk, we'll call him that. This Willie Chi bloke. Yeah. He obviously... understandably thinks she's brilliant. He fancies her from day one. So does the old monk. We know from that Hans place in comedy scene. But I mean, he really, really likes her loads. Even when she becomes the concubine of Kung, KK Wong. Even when she becomes the concubine there. So she's been through God knows what before that scene. Then she's gone through loads when she's gone in there, and he still wants to know. You know what I mean? But I mean, she's... I don't know. It's a good prostitute, that, isn't it? No? I'm on my own here.
This is the prostitute review segment of the show.
Yeah, but if you watch any Shaw Brothers film, well, actually not Shaw Brothers, if you watch any Golden Harvest film in the 70s and you look at brothels, right? There's always one or two of maybe lower quality, but there's always a Lee in there. Or there's always someone in there that is of very high quality.
Well, I've never noticed. I don't know. I'll have to rewatch those films.
Well, I'm just saying. I
noticed in this one though. That was their fault. They were the ones kept going on about. We know, do we? Because with a little bit of research and all that this Fong Sai-yuk fella, this Willie Chi, that he ended up not just sort of wanting to do her, but he did end up doing her, didn't he?
Unfortunately so, behind his missus's back, apparently.
Right. And that got him into trouble, agreed?
Yeah, Johnny Toe blackballed him, didn't he?
Yeah, there we go. Yeah. This is an interesting thing if people don't know this. So I do want to discuss this because I found this very interesting. This guy, Willie Chi, pitched as being the next Jet Li, played some silly buggers. What's the lady's name? That's a Clive question.
Carmen Lee.
Carmen Lee,
yeah.
right? So he pursued her throughout the filming. Eventually, she agreed it, and Johnny Toe had already, took him under his wing and whatnot, gave him a lovely contract, and then found out that he's got a wife and a kid back in the US, right? And he didn't take kindly to it, Johnny Toe. It's not, right?
Well, maybe if he had taken kindly to it, we'd have had more Willie Chew films, and he's actually quite good.
So let me get this. I wasn't aware of this. So you're saying Johnny Toe took some kind of moral umbrage to Willie Chew fucking about on his wife, and kind of cancelled his career, basically.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That's exactly that's what we hear has happened. We don't know that truly happened, but that's apparently why he's in nothing. He kind of just said, well, you can't do things like that. And
who knew Johnny Toe was such a moralist?
Well, I mean, we know now. And you know what? I think he's brilliant. Anyway, I love Johnny Toe in his films. And
I like his films, but I'm not sure if I would appreciate him poking his nose into my private affairs. But
well, I mean, I'm sure it wasn't in the contract that he couldn't do these things, Willie Chew. But yeah, he didn't take kindly to it. I suppose he thought it would be something that we're talking on his behalf here, something that would, if he did agree it or not do anything about it, then he would condone the behaviour. And I guess if he doesn't condone the behaviour, I still don't think that means that he shouldn't be in any films anymore and he should be blacklisted, or I think he froze his contract and whatnot, and he ended up going back to the US and working with his family and all that. And I guess that's why we never saw him again. But that goes to show the power.
Early example of cancel culture, though, isn't it? Like nowadays, that wouldn't be such a surprising story, but back then,
well, I don't know. Yeah, well, I think the closest we've got to it these days is maybe Johnny Depp and Amber Heard.
Well, that's what I'm saying. It's everywhere now, though, isn't it? Like that wouldn't.
Well, yeah, but it's not the same thing, right? It's not the same thing. Johnny Depp got cancelled initially because he was alleged to have beaten his partner, right? Then it transpired in a court of law that perhaps he didn't, and then she got cancelled. Right? That's very different to Richard Burton shagging around while he's with Liz Taylor, or vice versa, shagging Liz Taylor while he's with his original wife. Didn't dent his career, so it's a kind of a different proposition to cancel culture, really, isn't it?
Yeah, I suppose, yeah. Johnny Depp should have taken a page out of my books, because I've only ever been abusive to
Here it comes.
up here.
You've only been
in my fantasy world. I didn't have to actually harm anyone in real life. So, and that's why you'll never be as successful as I am.
No, Johnny Depp is never going to get the views that we're going to get.
No. If he started a Kung Fu Pause, Steve wouldn't go on, I don't think. He'd turn him down, wouldn't he?
Nah, you only do real stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
exactly. He can't even promise him a go on Amber Heard anymore. So he's got nothing.
Look, has he seen Burning Paradise? And does he know that Willie Chew messed around with Carmen Lee and then Johnny Toe blacklisted him? Does he? Right?
He might like.
He might do. But he's got to prove himself first.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
So, right.
Quite interesting. So that's Willie Chew dealt with. We dealt with him.
Who?
Willie Chew. Have we dealt with him?
Not now? Really. I mean,
I think we dealt with him.
He's Drunken Master 3. I know that much about him.
Yeah, bad one.
Yeah.
Yeah, but he's solid enough. Clearly, he can perform.
He's good. Right? Yeah, he's very good. Yeah.
See, I don't know. I mean, he's definitely real at Kung, and I can see that he's real at Kung, but I don't think this was a good vehicle for him. I'm going to say he was a crap Fong Sai-yuk. Listen, it's nasty, but I am. He's a crap Fong Sai-yuk. He was playful, but he didn't have the cheekiness about him, but I believe it was his first film, so I'll forgive him for that. He wasn't crap. It didn't look like his first film. And, of course, I'm used to what I think Fong Sai-yuk is from Fu Sheng and whatever. So
yeah,
I don't want to be too harsh on him, but, we said before, it doesn't matter whether he's Fong Sai-yuk or not. But even when I found out he was, as in it's Fong Sai-yuk, he didn't seem like Fong Sai-yuk.
Well, yeah, I think it's less problematic if he's not Fong Sai-yuk. I mean, because you could tell the story without Fong Sayuk, really.
Of course,
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be Fong Sayuk.
Yeah, I think that makes more sense. If he's not Fong Sayuk, then that's all right.
Could be Eric and Ernie from the
Yes.
Shaolin Temple. That's
Both
it.
of them.
Right.
You could be Eric. Yeah. Fong Sayuk can be Eric. YCHYFUS can be Eric, and the other dude can be Ernie. You know.
And when
dude,
Wong Kong tries to do some evil thing and launch into his big musical number, they come out to the background.
That's it.
Like putting
well, like a paper bag and doing all that business.
Yeah.
That's the one. That's the move. Yeah.
Yeah.
So what do we think about this YCHYFUS never to be seen again? I mean, do we like these performances in this film? I watched a real close eye this time. So I like looking at things and going, I look at their footwork, their stances, and I can't try and go, right, is he actually real at Kung or not? And I went, he's definitely real at Kung. But, you know, I don't know. There's a lot of stunt doubles and all that in this. And it disappointed me because I was looking closely. There was a couple of bits I rewound and went, right, hang on, was that him? And I don't know.
I mean, who was impressive was Yang Shang as Hung Shi Kwan.
Yeah, no, he was
very good.
Who's apparently AKA Yamson Domingo. That's his other name.
Domingo, yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Yamson Domingo, which is, I don't know which country that's supposed to be.
You know what that sounds like? That sounds like a brand of orange juice. That sounds like Yamson.
The man from Yamson Domingo, he say yes.
That's the one, yeah, he was good. I do think he was good. But he's part of the Jackie Chan stunt team. He's worked on a load
Right,
so I wouldn't expect him to be anything but good. But yeah, you could tell he looks definitely more than capable.
I like John Chin Tung, he of the Flying Guillotine. I think he's got a good villain.
Oh, he was very good. Very good. Yeah, he's a bit Jason Pai Piao. He's a bit Chong Fat, isn't he? He's got that kind of look about it, doesn't he?
He definitely had the look for sure. He definitely had. Well, it was a brilliant weapon. I thought the weapon was good. What do we think about all this chopping horses' heads off and all that? I mean, you know, there was some powers in the start bit, wasn't there?
Yeah.
Looked like a bit of a 3D sort of shot, didn't it?
I'm all right with that. It's like 94, right? 94 was the year of hurting horses. Because I think Blade of Fury came out at the same time.
I was going to say, yes, also shot in China. There's I think a bit of a connection between these. I've always thought of these two films as...
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, because
I wanted to try and shoehorn a double bill at some point of Blade of Fury, because I'm itching to do Blade of Fury.
Yeah.
And Burning Paradise, because same as you, I link them in my mind.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
We saw them about the same time, but I think there's more to it than that, right? It's the location.
Yeah.
Should also mention Maggie Lam. She plays the woman, the one who turns, helps them out.
Yeah, the woman who wore the mask most of the way. Yeah,
the Hannibal Lecter kind of thing.
Yeah, I enjoyed that. Yeah.
Well,
she was trying to do what's his name, Hung Si Kwan, but he already liked another woman, didn't he?
Mm.
You know, so he had two women after him.
Yeah, well,
because he did something dodgy, didn't he? And she caught him and let him go. She was quite vicious. This Maggie Lam character, as in he just did whatever Kung, the warden, said. You know, if he said smash someone up, she smashed someone up. And so she let him go, which proves that she loved him and whatnot. So they had a bit of a relationship there. And then when she got done at the end with a smashed up leg, he helped her out and was sort of, he didn't turn his back on her. I liked that because he weren't interested, but he remembered and went, you know what? She could have smashed me up there. She could have grasped me up because he's like an interceptor, isn't he? He's a mole or whatever.
Yeah. Well, it turns out the thing is, it turns out he's a good guy, isn't it? So it turns out he's actually a hero. So
right. So she then finds out that he's sort of intercepted and all that, but she don't grasp him up. So when she gets smashed up in that fight with a bed and all that, and it smashes her leg in, he don't leave her. But don't she get chopped? She gets done by a trap, don't she?
Yeah, she gets cut in half, doesn't she? By yeah.
Well, I mean, you see, that's why some of those mood swings in there. I'm sure they're there on purpose, obviously, otherwise they wouldn't be there. That's why some of those mood swings in there, they confuse me because I just wanted it to be all gritty and dark. And most of it was.
I think this is the thing, right? I think it's to do with if you're watching a Jackie film or even a Jet Li film of the era, or even going further back, the kung fu comedies and stuff, you're braced for the kind of the shifts in tone, right? The neck snapping kind of twist. They're coming, right? You know they're coming. There's going to be a fucking badass bit of action. We're going to get their neck snapped.
Yeah.
And someone's going to be wow, 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 step in a turd or something and go like that. And
That's right. Yeah.
It's coming. But you don't expect that from Ringo Lam and kind of a more. So I think that's why it kind of maybe well, in a way it jars less, but it's because it's less jarring. It's because that in itself is a fascinating thing, the jarringness of it. So I think that's what it is.
Yeah.
You don't expect it from.
It means you could have just. It's so little that you could have just left it out and gone.
Exactly.
Well, we don't.
You could have.
I appreciate that. You're absolutely right. I'm making a big deal out of it, but like you say, it's tiny. But then, just don't bother with it. Then just leave those lines, and then we'll have it as a full dark thing. You know.
I think you're right. I think so. My position would be, I think that the comedies, Ringo Lam's silly comedy, silliness is fine up until a point. But that point should be halfway through the film when it ramps up into serious shit.
Yeah.
And it ramps up into nastiness, you know, and big stakes, which is strange because in a way, the first half of this film is a lot more serious than the second half of the film.
Yeah, because there's a lot of jokes between all the monks when they're trying to get out, and
but also there's all the traps, and there's all the traps business as well. It's like some of the traps are like almost funny, you know. It's like this over the top. They're funny.
Yeah,
And there's the snake fight bullshit, which kind of diffuses some of the tension. So yeah, I think so. I'm way up for Ringo Lam's comedy up until a certain point.
Right.
But if I had a criticism of Burning Paradise, it's that apart from the amazing Buddha shooting all the monks bit, which I really liked, it's like the darkness slightly fizzles out by the sort of third reel of the film.
Yeah. No, I agree. Maybe it's because of that horrible degrading scene with KK Wong and the concubine or whatever, Carmen Lee. That scene is rough.
Oh yeah.
That's
well, that's fairly early on though, to be fair.
Yeah. Oh, is it? Yeah, I can't remember where that came, but
yeah.
No, that scene. Yeah.
Well,
I don't get uncomfortable with stuff. I don't, right? And I like things that show me the true dark evilness of a character, because obviously that made me go, you know what, this guy is real devil bloke, you know, he's proper. He's absolutely.
I think that's why that scene works for me.
Yeah, it does. Listen,
it worked for me. Yeah.
It was I'm just saying it was that's why I called it the degrading scene, right? Because he was really horrible in it. But at that point, we start to learn that this place, as I believe he even says himself, is like his prison as well. Just because he's in charge of it, he's going nuts in this place. So he's doing he's had everything at his fingertips. He's doing whatever he can to entertain himself and keep himself sane, which is obviously making him insane. I mean, the guy's absolutely crazy. But that's a rotten scene, that, I tell you.
Yeah, it's nasty. Yeah.
The other thing as well, to think of it in terms of context of Ringo Lam's career as well, right? So you could see it as this kind of, it's the on-ramp to him kind of, leaving the Hong Kong ghetto to a certain extent, right? So after this, the next thing he directs is that Andy Lau film, The Adventurers, right? Which is rubbish, but it's him like trying. It's more of a international espionage kind of thing.
I think that's an aeroplane jet plane film.
Exactly.
One,
So that's a bigger canvas, and then of course after that he gets the Van Damme vehicle, Maximum Risk, right? And he gets to do, because it was apparently everyone in Hong Kong at that time had to make a Van Damme film, right?
Of course, yeah.
So, if you think of it in that context, it's like the last really Ringo Lam film for a little bit, while he got kind of sideswiped and fucked off and did Adventurers and Maximum Risk, and I can't remember what it came after that, but
it makes sense. It makes sense.
A couple of cast members as well, not in and of themselves that interesting that I know, but just highlighting them. So there's a couple of people, Wu Qiqiang, and maybe Li Ji, the smaller parts. But I was looking them up, and you look them up on the Hong Kong Movie Database and the Internet Movie Database, and they seem to have large, and they're mainland actors, right? So they have large parts in mainland films, like going back 50s, 60s, 70s, big gap, and then nothing, and they're in this. So I'm thinking, I don't think they were out of work. I think there just is this massive period of time where mainland Chinese productions just have not been recognized and listed in the English language. So these guys could have been actually quite, famous, and having them in the film, it was akin to having a cameo of a big Hollywood star or something like that. But we don't know who these people are.
Well, I was listening to the commentary. So Frank Zheng did the commentary on that disc, which I've got as well, that you showed earlier on.
Yeah.
And the monk that's in the plague pit, the monk that's in the corpse plague pit, apparently
that's Li Ji. Yeah.
So he's massive in China.
There we go then. That's confirms my suspicion.
He's an actor, but he's also like an art director as well.
Yes, that's the guy. Yeah.
And so a mainland audience looking at him would instantly recognize him.
Yeah. It's like if we had Shane Ritchie in one of our films.
Exactly.
Like, the dad's doorstep.
Yes.
Shane Ritchie be lying down like that, pretending to be dead. And then, but what he'd do, because Ringo's quite clever, he'd have him lying on like a red box, right? And he'd just see like a little corner of the red box just there, just as like that.
But this is fascinating, not to belabor but this is fascinating to me, the fact that, maybe in mainland China, for instance, whatever their version of blankety blank is, Li Ji turns up on it, right? And their version of Les Dawson asks him questions, and this is fascinating that this might be going on. We don't know. One day blankety blank, next,
right.
Bearing in mind, you come from the country, you live in the country where Takeshi Kitano, violent cop,
is a
does fucking game shows.
This is true
on Saturday night,
ridiculous costumes.
So this old granddad down in the pit, the one we're chatting about, his character is quite an interesting one, because he plays one of the 5 elders of Shaolin. And those 5 elders of Shaolin, they're in quite a lot of the films, and they're like, when I say famous, I think it's folklore as opposed to real, like a lot of not all of it, like a lot of it is. And so these 5 elders of Shaolin, they all create their own style. So there'll be a Hung Gar one, there's the Wing Chun Nun, and one of them is Buck Mei, so the white eyebrows, the Gordon Liu. So, or the Lo Li character, really, we should say, rather than using the Kill Bill version. Right. So it's quite good, because when you find these things out, you say to yourself, so there's more relevance to it than just there's a random old bloke down in that pit. It's not. That's one of the 5 elders of Shaolin. That's why they know him. That's why they highly respect him. He's also known to be one of the 5 elders that survived this whole thing where the Shaolin Temple got burnt down and stuff like that, and which he does survive, right? So I think all these little details, they make these films better. They don't make a difference, but when we said it about Freddie Wong, they don't make a difference when you find out. You kind of have a bit more respect for it and go, what, brilliant.
Because what's really smart about it as well, in retrospect, if you think about it, right? If you were deliberately going out of your way to kind of be wonky about that and kind of put in little Easter eggs that made sense to people who understand, but then the film's supposed to play. If you it's very easy to fuck that up and fall somewhere in the middle where it's kind of confusing or obfuscating, whatever. But what's really clever about a lot of Hong Kong and Taiwanese filmmakers is the way that they've kind of constructed this stuff, which is it's there, but also it's totally free and clear of the narrative of the stuff. I can't think of any example where I've watched something which doesn't work if you don't know the history.
Yeah, it's accessible.
Yeah, absolutely right. Yeah, it makes no difference that we don't know. that he's one of the five elders of Shaolin. But there'll be a lot of people out there that are watching it. You know, the Chinese audience that will know the name. They'll know whatever his name is, Master Chi Xin. They'll know his name and go, oh yeah, he's one of the five elders. There's probably loads of people that won't, but certainly audiences outside of Asia probably won't know. But this is. But
also, what's interesting about that particular character as well is that one of the big sort of belly laughs you would imagine in Hong Kong in 1994 in front of the cinema screen would be Francais falling into the bobby pit, meeting the old man, right, whose name we know, right, who's one of the elders of Shaolin, saying, yeah, actually I started eating meat. And then Francais thinks he's rats or something, isn't he? Yeah, but initially Francais thinks that he's actually just been eating the corpses.
Right.
But it turns out he's just been eating rats.
Yeah.
So that's
right,
shock.
Like cannibal,
yeah. So if you think about it, so I suppose, you know, the equivalent. Well, I can't really think of an equivalent, but that's almost like blasphemy, isn't it? So
like if Buddha was feasting on some steak.
Exactly. Yeah.
Like that. Yeah.
So I think so we're probably not getting the context of that joke as Westerners, but I think that joke would be a lot more. No, but I think that joke would be a lot more shocking.
Yeah.
To an Eastern audience, right?
But you can make a film about 3 legendary folk heroes or something, and it you know, that resonates with the local audience. But then some fucking distributor picks it up, dubs it, and they're called Barry, Gary, and Larry.
Right. Yeah.
And it still works as a kung fu film.
Improves on it. Improves on the original formula.
Gives them all Scouse accents, so they're like, all right,
that's it. Yeah. Makes it better. Yeah, makes it more accessible to the rest of the world.
To Merseyside.
It's funny though, because exactly. You mentioned that scene about, obviously, because it's a monk and obviously they don't eat meat. But that could have been quite a dark, serious scene. Going, look, you know, I've had to go against my vows and this, that, and the other. They made light of it, no problem. But it's not the only bit like that. The hand touching scene with the monk at the beginning, he's also not supposed to be fawning over a woman and stuff like that. That's true, another, So there's two sort of, I don't know, anti-monk things or whatever.
He's got
the path. Yeah,
he's got an agenda. You know, he's decided to say something about the monks, hasn't he? He's decided to say something about priesthood.
Yeah, and their faith, their faith when it came to the Buddha. He got them all to pray. Didn't he get loads of them to pray for the opening? And then all those blokes got smashed up, and he was still all right at the back.
Yeah. It's Ringo Lam.
Good, that bit,
That's Ringo Lam. That's what he does.
Right. Yeah.
You know, but that's what I was saying as well. Is that's what Choi Ha used to do, as well, isn't it? Yeah. And that's why I think the combo is quite good. Is that Ringo Lam's just gone, right, I'm gonna go and do some depraved shit on a film, just like you did with We Are Gonna Eat You and Dangerous Encounters of the First Kind. So you got to let me do that because I'm basically you.
Thankfully, they didn't do what they did to the cat in that film in this film, though. So there's none of that.
True.
Yeah. Just a horse instead, right?
Yeah.
That's right.
I don't think it's not a real horse, though.
No, I mean, it definitely wasn't a real horse, which is good. I'm glad because I've seen some of these old kung fu films where they don't care. So I'm glad.
Yeah.
Or even old westerns, right, where they use the trip. Horses down and
Well, in Blade of Fury, it is real horses. So.
All right. Okay. Well, there you go. We'll leave Blade of Fury. Now, look, this KK Wong bloke, he was my standout for it. Obviously, it was kind of a vehicle for this guy. Daz will probably know this as well. Real life artist, right? So on those opening credits, all the calligraphy and stuff he did. And then if you remember, I mean, I love this. To me, this was fascinating. There's a painting there of, whatever the temple, right at the friezes where it says director or whatnot. And that painting goes from paint to real life. And he did that painting, and the painting that Clyde mentioned earlier on the wall, that's real. We see him painting it. There's not many things in films where you have that true thing. So when I watched him painting it, I was like, he's brilliant. Yeah, before I knew he was a real artist, I went, this is brilliant. What great filming. It looks like he's painting this for real. And he is.
And he was, because he's an artist. Yeah.
Really good.
The closest analogy I can think of is Rolf Harris.
Right. There you go. Well done, mate. Good one.
That's all right.
Because, he used to do that. Right? He used to do that on telly, didn't he? He used to go.
Yes.
Yeah. Whatever happened to that Rolf Harris? He should be back on telly, shouldn't he?
Yeah.
What happened to him?
Yeah, he can get. I'm sure he can get on day release for a children's
No one's going to
special.
answer that one. Yeah. But listen, brilliant, right? Brilliant that he painted those things. The paintings that he did in that film, genuinely, I went, I'd love those paintings on a canvas.
Are we talking Wong or Harris?
We're back on Wong.
All right, okay.
Back on the Burning Paradise, right? Stick to it. Back on the Burning Paradise. Real life artist. Really. And another good thing, right? Utilizing those skills. Normally, you get someone in who can fight, who knows kung fu, so you're utilizing their skills. But to actually have an artist play the role and using those attributes that he's got, I thought that was a brilliant idea. I absolutely loved that.
No, it's great. Amazing. Yeah, and it's that. I think that's one of the things. Because I was almost dreading seeing this film again, right? Because I saw it in the 90s. Unlike you, I saw it in the 90s and I loved it.
Yeah.
I thought this is just the sort of fucked up shit with kung fu that I was not used to at the time. So just sort of fucked up shit that I'm into, right? I loved it. I adored this film when I first saw it.
Right.
I'm putting it on this week, right? Which is probably the first time I've seen it in good 20 years.
Yeah.
I was thinking, oh shit,
Well, yeah, maybe
because I
leave it. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. I have fond memories of this, and I have to say, I think exactly the same thing.
Brilliant.
Of this that I thought in the 90s.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
So it stands up for you then, yeah.
Yeah, no, absolutely, and it's I'm even possibly getting a bit more from it because I've got a little tiny bit more context in terms of mythology and stuff. But also, this is if this film was released today, right? Forget about Hong Kong. Hong Kong doesn't exist anymore. But if this film was released in mainland China today, or was released in Taiwan, or somehow today, and we managed to catch it on Netflix, or we managed to see a release of it, it would still be quite edgy and shocking.
I agree.
Right?
Yeah.
And there's not a lot. There's not a lot of films from back then that you could say that about.
No, not like this. This is because it's dark with it. So the bit where he's doing the degrading scene, he's giving her a load of grief. Is that the same bit where another lady comes in and he just basically takes her head off?
Yeah, he goes and then just rips her head off. Yeah.
Yeah. Right. And then see, I mean, it's pretty amazing. Yeah. I mean, that was
but even just
made him cool, right? I actually like a lot of directing and stuff, and the way it was shot and the fight scenes I didn't like, but I like the way he was shot. Which is, I found that everything worked for him and his abilities, but for the kung fu blokes, I didn't like it as much. I preferred, because it was all arty, it worked for this bloke, not because he was an artist, just because of his way, his weapons. So he did like a sort of art ink paper kung fu, which I loved, right? Because that's a mad kung fu film type thing. So I like that. I love the fact he was qigong. I love the fact that he was sort of all nuts and everything. And I thought that the film really suited him as a vehicle, but I don't think it suited Francais and Hong Hei-gung characters. I just don't. But I did think it was much better suited to him and his character, which is, I guess, why it stood out for me. Because he was wicked. But the other fights I didn't really like that much, because there wasn't that much wire work, but there was a little bit too much wire work. But I've got to understand the era it was made. So I didn't really like that. There was way too much use of dust and sand and stuff like that, which to me normally is a good thing that I would like, because it obviously creates impact. But I just looked at this and went, nah, you're using it because the impact is not that good. So you're trying to accentuate something, but normally it adds to impact. But it was overused. It was there all the time. And it made me go, you're hiding something here in the choreography. A little bit too much stunt doubling. Mask Lady was good. She's actually real at Kung, but, you know, she was wearing her mask all the way and probably a bloke doing most of the stuff. So that got on my nerves. And the sound I liked. So normally in those kind of films, I complain about the sound effects because obviously I've grown up watching old traditional kung fu films with certain sound sets that I love. And this, I think, had good sounds, decent, beefy sound. Didn't like the sounds of the chains at the end. They were crap. But other than that, I thought the sound effects were wicked. But the fights, the other thing I hated about the fights, I didn't hate them. The other thing I didn't like about the fights is they didn't rely on the combatants. They relied on the scenery. And I mean, as far as I'm aware, every fight, whether it be sand at the beginning, the bridge, fire, there was always some element of something in it which took away from. I was waiting for there to be some ground fighting, and when there was finally an opportunity with Fong Sayuk and Hong Hae Gung to have that fight, I was like, too much bridge, too much wires, too much this, too much. You know, they were adding things in, throwing things at each other. I was like, I just want you guys to have a fight, and I thought, okay, no worries, we'll get it later. You never did, you know. Even the end, you know, it involved the bed.
That's a good point. Yeah, I think that's a good. No, it's a good point.
You should expect something, yeah, a little bit. It's not quite fully there, but a little bit more in the direction of wuxia fantasy than fully grounded. So I think if you're set up for it, you're all right. The other thing, also worth mentioning, is I was watching the film, trying to figure out, like, I mean, there's a lot of stuff with fire, which I couldn't help thinking, yeah, there's no way you did that without that being quite dangerous. Like, some of these, there's no way that can't be.
Well, it's like that first scene, that scene where you've got that opening scene. Well, not opening scene, but when they first go down and you have the monk be an example of how badass everyone else is. You know, where you've got what's her name, Maggie. What's her name?
Oh, Maggie Lam.
Maggie Lam. So where you've got Maggie Lam fighting the sort of random shaman monk.
Yeah.
You've got that scene, and this is horrible, right? This is arguably almost as bad as that rape scene or rapey scene. Is you've got Fong Sayuk kind of trying to save this dude, and he kind of does.
Yeah.
And he keeps getting stabbed by the traps, by the spikes that come up in the thing. And then he's like up on the chains trying to like rescue him. But the monk ends up dying because he just accidentally catches fire and just like burns up because there's a fire on the thing. And that's just like
that's on fire for a long time.
Yeah,
that's a long flaming man stunt to do.
Yeah. And you know, it's not like he's stationary and he can roll around.
No, exactly.
And they can cut.
Arguably,
he's hanging off someone else.
Arguably, something you could get away with in China in '94 more than you could.
Well, we know now that that's definitely right because that is what he was like. But yeah, you're right. And again, another nod towards how dark and gruesome this film is. You know, so
I think it's all to do. It's not just with this film. With anything though, it's how you come into expecting. So. You say that, but I think if you're set up for it too much, because that's what I had the same memory in my head as Darren had of it being like really up there and really convincing. And I think I'd overstated it a little bit. So when I was watching it this time, I didn't think, oh my God, this is so dark and gritty.
Right.
But it is, you were right, it is in comparison with other things. But I was expecting that a bit too much, I think. So
yeah, you're ready for it now.
Yeah. So now a third watch or whatever would be maybe even I can just accept the film for what it is and maybe give it a. But it seems as if we're all favourable towards Burning Paradise now in 2020.
Well, yeah. Like I said, I always ask myself when I finish these films, I go through them and I criticise them, for whatever reason. I always say, did you enjoy it? Was it boring? And that's always the same. I always say, well, did I enjoy it? And you know what? I did enjoy it.
Yeah.
I've got my complaints, but I got to the end of it and went, I still liked it though. I still enjoyed the film.
there's no flag. It does not slow down, really. Even the stuff that detracts a little bit from the shrimping or the comedy scene or whatever, it's not on there for long. You know,
No,
it doesn't allow the pressure doesn't go out the balloon, right? It's pretty all the way through.
And you know, for a kung fu film, right, or wuxia film, if you want to argue wuxia film, what people remember is not the kung fu and is not the wuxia. It's the other stuff around it, right? This is the fucked up kung fu film, isn't it? This is the fucked up wuxia film, and it, in a way, it doesn't matter if the action's any good, right? And I know we're a kung fu film podcast, right? And I know you're FightClan Steve, right? But does it, as a film, so long as the action's all right, you know, and so long as the action's cool, good, they're not making any mistakes, does it really matter? Because I feel like that this film's about being fucked up more than it's about being a kung fu film.
Yeah, I think you're right. Yeah, I think you're right. Yeah, I watch it remembering it being kung fu
adventure.
That's right. Yeah. But they see there you saying that then makes me go, okay, then can it not be Shaolin, Fong Sai-yuk, and Hung Hae Kwon? You know, do you know what I mean? That's the only. That's the wrestle I have. Look, we've agreed it don't matter, right? Because just because I know, though, if they were called, you know, John, Peter, and Paul, it wouldn't matter, would it? It doesn't matter. But because I know
that could be potentially more offensive to certain people.
Yeah, it probably would, right? But I like those characters. You know what I think of them. You know the films that I associate with. I don't associate with that later Jet Li stuff. You know, he ruined it again for me later. Way worse than this. But so I didn't stick to it like glue. I just went, oh, so what if he's Fong Sai-yuk and he's not a very good Fong Sai-yuk? You know, I thought the Hung Si-kwan was quite good. But I want more of him. I want Hungar then, right? He did do some, and there was a little bit at the end. If you remember, there was like a still where it panned out at the end, and they were doing the tiger, the crane, and he was doing the qigong stance. You know, on top of each other. So that was a good little throwback to those old traditionals, which I like because it means the guy who made it knows, you know.
Yeah. But isn't this Ringo Lam just taking a stick and like poking?
Probably. Yeah.
This is like him going like,
to consider as well, like, depending where you come from into this film, then your takeaway is going to be a little bit different, right? Obviously, that's kind of something I hadn't thought about before. But
and that's why overall I just say, but did you like it? And I go, you know what? Yeah, I kind of, you know, I did, and I can see it with different eyes. Back then, I totally understood when I rewatched it. I totally understood why I thought it was crap back then. I mean, just crap back then, because it would have been for the shock factor, this, that, and the other. And I'm waiting for Kung Fu. And I'm getting shock. But this time, I just watched it with fresh eyes and went, well, actually, the dark and the shocking stuff or whatever gave it substance. You know, it made it cool, if you like, you know. So, I like those things about it. Yeah. I've got a question about this film.
Go on.
Oh, it's still Burning Paradise. Fucking hell. All right, go on.
Yeah, right. No, it's just... a film I don't like, right? Yeah.
Nothing much to say about that.
You do like it now, though.
Look, listen, there's a bit at the end, right, where he throws a sword in the guillotine bloke and the guillotine bloke blows up. What's that all about? Do we know? Because I was pretty confused. I remember rewinding it and going, hang on, why does he blow up? Because he blows up from a sword, no?
To be fair, that makes about as much sense as a piece of paper going into the wall. So...
I'm going to check my
I like that. By the way, I actually liked him blowing up. I just didn't get it. I thought it was me, you know, going, there's something I don't get here.
No, I think it just belongs to that same kind of, you either go with it or you don't kind of. I don't think there was an explosives device attached to it or anything. Or
oh wow, yeah, he blew up though, didn't he?
He did.
Yeah.
He definitely blew up. Yeah, mad.
Yeah, all in my notes, it says Fong Sai-yuk versus guillotine, stabs while on fire with big sword, explodes. That's my notes.
It does. It explodes. Yeah.
So he blew up.
Yeah.
So that brings us quite neatly onto your second choice, Steve. which is what?
An orange fruit pastel.
And after the orange fruit pastel has been put in place, what shall we speak of next?
Right.
Did you choose the orange, or was it just the next one in line?
Yeah, it's just got too many oranges in there. That's all that's left.
Is that all right? Do you favour the
oranges and no? It came with loads of the yellow ones. There's three yellows left and one.
Hang on.
So the best one. So hang on. I haven't been privy to this conversation, right? Because I obviously missed a bit.
No.
But so the black ones are the best ones, right?
What, in fruit pastels?
Yeah.
Yeah. No, yeah, black and red, isn't it?
Yeah.
Hang on, hold up that packet.
It's going to disappear because of the green screen behind me. So they are
no,
good.
It's there. It's there.
Do fruit pastels? See, my memory of fruit pastels.
No, that's a roll.
Yeah.
A roll.
Yeah. What's that monstrosity you got there?
Well, it's more in there, isn't it?
Yeah, but I've never seen that before in my life. I've only ever seen fruit pastel in a roll.
Oh, not in the bag. Okay.
Oh, that's a new development since I left the UK, I think.
Yeah. No, you're right.
Yeah.
It is. Yeah.
No, Clive's been away a long time. You have to remember. You know.
Yeah. Actually, I'm not going to go and get them, but I've got some Japanese sweets as well.
Oh, it's all right. I've got plenty of them. It's fine.
Yeah, I know. Yeah,
fruit pastels is in a bag is no. That's I'll be thinking about that for the rest of the day.
Bloody lovely. You can't go wrong. Classics. You know what I mean? Right. Okay. The next film.
Yeah.
You want to know what the film is? And okay, the film is Shanghai Affairs. I've got it on
look at
VCD.
that. It's a fucking VCD.
Yes. VCD version.
Yeah. To be fair,
well
the thing that's floating about online that claims to be HD is not that far removed from a VCD. It's
there
not
you go. Yeah.
Remastered.
I think it's probably DVD.
Yeah, maybe.
I would say it's DVD.
I was surprised that for a film not that old, 98, it looks pretty shoddy. The print is quite surprising. I thought they had all that sorted out by then, you know, but no, tail end of the 90s, some stuff still looks pretty ropey, and you know,
looks a bit Falcon Crest, doesn't it? It looks a bit kind of sons and daughters, you know.
It sure does, and this is why you got to watch the VCD version, because that makes the most of it, you know.
Right.
It really makes the most of the bad qual.
So. This of the two that you chose, this is the one that I found the most interesting in terms of why the fuck did you choose this of all the things you could have chosen? So I'm really interested to know, because I've never actually seen Shanghai Affairs before.
No, I've never seen it.
Yeah.
Now, no joke, that is actually one of the reasons, because I thought that Donnie Yen, he's a big star. Everyone knows him. Even people who didn't know him now know him because of Star Wars or Ip Man movies. You know, he's a very well-known Hong Kong actor who's still active, still making films.
Star Wars, yeah. I forgot he was in a Star Wars film.
Yeah, he is, yeah. But, you know, that's what I'm saying. So he's very, very well-known. And I thought, well, maybe people will find this interesting because it's not a well-known Donnie that many people... Not many people. I don't know who's seen it, but what I'm saying is you never hear anyone chatting about it. People that like Donnie Yen, depending on what we say, might want to check it out, might not want to check it out. I just tried to pick something, well, that was a bit more interesting. And not only that, I just rewatched it.
Yeah, well,
right? You've got to have the reasons. You know, it was a bit fresh again. Now,
next time we'll be talking about fruit pastels because it's the last thing he ate.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, but I know, but they're sort of a bit more of a regular occurrence, so I'm not going to forget about those.
You don't have to, right.
Yeah,
talk about fruit pastels.
Right. You know, they've been eating for forever. This is. I mean, I did watch this in the 90s. There's no doubt, but that's when I would have bought this VCD. In the 90s.
Say that, though. I don't think I've eaten a fruit pastel in 25 years, but I actually remember what they taste like. I was thinking. I do remember what they taste like.
You know what? I came across a fact, right? It's like a meme on Facebook or something.
Yes.
Right? And it makes sense, like in your brain neurologically, right?
Yeah.
But the fact kind of blew my mind, right? So if you look at an object, right, and that could be like a vase or like a table leg or something, right?
Yeah.
Your
Table
tongue,
leg.
well, anything, any
Well, I know.
object.
I realised it was anything, but geez, a table,
Yeah.
not a table, just the leg. Yeah.
Yeah,
A
Good
bug
one.
spray.
yeah, the bugs, or anything, right?
Oh, that looked like a nice drink, but it's actually a bug spray. All right, yeah.
You don't drink that.
Right,
No.
right. Your tongue already knows how that object feels if you lick it, even if you've never licked it.
I know.
Think about
I don't know you that well, Clive, but I know there's things going through your head.
Well,
I know it.
I'm trying to think of objects that I haven't licked, and I'm wondering if I can, like, I don't think I've ever licked like a cattle prod. But
yeah,
but that's a different thing, isn't it? That's got electricity. I'm talking about like the shape.
Well, no, I turned off. Obviously, I'm not mad. I'm not going to lick it turned on.
Still turn it off, yeah. But it would just be like.
Yeah, I know what metal.
Right?
Yeah. No, yeah. So is there anything that's the thing? Is there anything that bucks the trend? Is there anything like would confuse you if you thought about, hang on, what's that?
Well, I suppose.
No, I'm gonna say there's gonna be things like so. For
but
example,
even lava. I've got an
you know it to burn you.
Yeah. Well, no, even if it's like hardened lava, I kind of know what it's. Yeah,
it would be like rough and pockmarked and
and a bit powdery.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
You ain't gonna get it right every time. So you could lick I don't know, my computer mouse here, and you're not gonna know it's a computer mouse, but you are gonna know it's plastic. You know?
Right,
so same as there'll be loads of other things that are plastic, and you go, you got that wrong. That's not a computer mouse. It's this. It's like, I know, but it's just plastic. It's
a real mouse would maybe be slightly more. I'm not quite sure if I'd know what a real mouse would, but I can still kind of vaguely.
Still nice a rodent or something, right? Yeah.
It is. Yeah.
But
it's still nice, something furry. Right?
Yeah.
You know what a mouse is. Yeah.
But the point I'm making is if you look at something.
Yes.
Right? If you look at something.
Oh, yeah, of course. Yeah, this isn't a blind test. No, that's a good point.
Yeah. So if you look at something and you've never licked it before, your tongue can work out, or your brain can work out via your tongue what that would feel like to lick.
Or at least you assume you would have to actually then lick it and then confirm. But yes, it would seem to be the case, wouldn't it?
Yeah, it could be wrong, you could be misled, but it maybe it's like a natural defense mechanism thing. So if you see like a spiky plant or a bit of thistle, you go, I won't lick that holly bush because it's not about taste every time. It could be about the danger. I don't know.
Yeah.
You know?
I find the more if I think of more organic things, it becomes slightly like I'm not quite sure what would an earthworm feel like, or a pancreas. I'm not quite sure what a pancreas would feel like.
It'd just be like, licking.
Well,
but maybe that's because I can't 100% visualize a pancreas.
Actually, that's true. Yeah, you've got to draw in a diagram of it only, haven't you? Yeah.
If you showed me a pancreas, I'd be.
Yeah.
Hang on now, I've got an idea.
But also, your eyes are for external things, and a pancreas is an internal thing.
Yeah, but not licking it to do it. Assume it would be external.
Yeah,
if you have
get
a
hold of one.
Well,
look. Funnily enough, guys, remember I haven't been educated in wood green, but that leads us on to. Well, I'm going to sound like I have in a minute because that's going to lead us into what they call a segue, right?
Oh, hang on, right? Yeah, this is
right. Because you just mentioned pancreas, but you can't.
That's one of those scooter bike things, isn't it?
No, yes.
The rider's got like
yes.
Right. Can I just say that before you do your segue, I would just like to say, if you are interested in knowing what the pancreas or any other organs and you want to get, I've got a good website. It's called www.uyghursaurus.com, and you can get whatever you like.
Right.
Reasonable knockdown prices. They got a sale on at the moment. Anyway,
Bring that. Don't worry, anyone. It's going to come up on the screen. It'll be there at the end. It'll be in the description. No worries.
Description below. Like and subscribe.
The affiliate link is down below, right?
Oh
no, I have ads pop up.
This is going to be the first YouTube video we've got that's going to have minus likes.
Yeah. What was the point if we didn't have that? I mean,
right? Yeah, I'm all right.
Challenge.
I don't care.
Yeah.
I don't care.
Right.
Steve,
the only reason I say segue, I didn't really want to get into it this deeply, but this film has organ harvesting.
Yes.
There we go. Human experiments.
Yes.
And you just mentioned pancreas and getting it out of the bod. So I couldn't resist, you know?
Good one. Nice segue.
Right? Segue. Yeah. What is the scooter thing called with that?
It's a Segway.
So it's the same. It's the same words. It's spelled the same.
It's called a Segway. I think so. Yeah.
Why they
one of them. One of them.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know that like a scooter,
Yeah.
like a Sinclair C5 version of a scooter. It's
Flat Rider, right?
That's it.
Yeah.
That's all. Yeah. Right. Yeah. So it hasn't got a different name. Yeah. Right. Okay.
Yeah.
Why are they called Segways then?
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. You know,
California. That's why they're called Segways.
Right. Okay. Yeah, I got it.
Because of California.
I thought it was a French word, but no, not everything is. But yeah, so that's the only reason I bring up organ harvesting. Not that we needed to go that deep into the film yet, because that's some way into it. But like I said, I chose it because I just recently rewatched it at around the same time of you kindly asking me on and to pick a couple of films. And I did think about it and go, well, maybe I should pick some films I like, right? But at the same time,
fruitful so far. So yeah.
That wasn't the remit. You didn't give me a remit and said it's got to be films that you think are brilliant. You just said pick two films. I just watched it, and then I thought about it and went, no, I can't use that. I'll think of something else that I'm more familiar with as well, right? I know more about. And I went, no, it's weird, this film. So let's just. And it's something that people might go, oh, what's that Donnie Yen film? You never know.
No, it gave me an excuse to watch it, sure. And as I should say, actually, I realized there was, so of the 4 films thus far that Donnie has officially directed, although I'm sure he's pretty hands-on in everything that he does. I hadn't seen this, and I hadn't seen Ballistic Kiss either, which is unfortunately called Cool in Japan. That is what it's called. It's Cool. That's the title.
Cool.
Really?
Cool. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, I know it's pretty cringe worthy, and it's Donnie Yen is cool. It's like
okay. And when it's called that, does it mean what we think it means? Cool, as in
yeah.
It does, yeah. Right.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah.
I don't think that film is cool though.
No. It's fucking awful, is what it is. And I'd never seen it. I'd never seen it before, so I thought, I'll watch that, and I'll have seen all the 4 he's directed then. Although I haven't seen Protégé de la Rose Noire, which is French. You might have noticed there, Steve, for a long time, so I don't remember much about that one.
What one's that?
Protégé de la Rose Noire. It's the one he directed after this in like 2004, 2003 or something.
Yeah, I haven't seen that.
It's a twins film.
Oh, is it? Oh, well.
Why don't I know that film? What is that? Is that? I know it's the real title, but is there another title I might?
No, that is the title, and it's a twins film, and I saw it back in the reason I quite fancy to watch it again is because it's a specific. It's something to do with. There's a Taiwanese series of films from the 60s with like a female, like Avenger character. I can't remember what she's called, a Black Hat or Black Hat, something like that. And it's like a retro kind of throwback to those films with the twins. And I think it was okay. It was like a New Year's film, you know, it's like a big kind of New Year's film with lots of guest stars and stuff. And but I think if you
when Sean Connery was in the remake of the Avengers TV series in the early 2000s.
Okay, we'll see. I mean,
you mean Patrick McNee?
No, but he was dead by then, wasn't he? So
was he?
Sean Connery is in.
Is he?
I think
the Uma Thurman, Ray Fiennes Avengers.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't remember. I thought Patrick McNee was in it.
He might be
Diana Rigg, actually.
Yeah, but
she probably is in it. But I'm pretty sure Sean Connery is dressed up like a teddy bear in it.
Yeah, but anyway, just like you said,
kind of,
absolutely nothing like that at all. But yes, that's what that is. So I'd quite like to see that. I'd quite like.
No, I was making an example of a reboot.
That's right. That's right.
Oh no, yeah. It was too. Yeah, so it's like that. But anyway, the main point I want to make is don't watch Ballistic Kiss because
too late.
Oh,
too late.
Anyone
I know maybe
who hasn't seen Ballistic Kiss or could should know that it's not could in this. I mean, it is dreadful.
It's weird.
Yeah, it's not good.
I haven't seen Legend of the Wolf.
No, I
for
like
a long
that.
time, yeah.
For a long time. You liked it?
I love that film. Yeah.
I remember
not liking it.
Yeah, I remember.
I understand.
The action. Yeah.
Yeah. But
I get it.
I haven't seen it since probably 2000. So.
But it can't be as bad as Ballistic Kiss. Ballistic Kiss surely must be the worst Donnie Yen film, at least that he directed, for sure. But
right. Okay, so what are the films he's directed then? Legend of the Wolf was the first one, I think, that he directed.
And then
was it
Ballistic Kiss, then this one, and then Protégé de la Rose. It's only 4.
There's only 4.
Officially directed. I'm sure he's all over Sakra and stuff like that. But
yeah, actually, I think he did direct Sakra, as in
not officially, no, but
no,
okay, I don't think so. No.
All right, okay. Well, I love Legend of the Wolf. We're not chatting about Legend of the Wolf, but I love that. But I have to be honest, it is, it's not similar to this. It is similar to this. It's in the qual. You're talking about the quality of it. I don't think there's such a thing as a good qual version of these films, as in picture quality. I don't think there is.
No.
I don't know why doesn't matter what version of Legend of the Wolf I get, whether it says HD on the front or not, it ain't. It's always the same crap qual. But I love that film.
I suspect it's something to do with. Oh, you're quite right. He may be a co-director on Sakra. Sorry, Steve. You're right there.
Just rang a bell.
But there's But I think it's to do with less so much because sometimes obviously it's an archiving problem, right? People didn't give shit back in the day. But I think this specific time period, I think it's something to do with whatever they were shooting on. I don't think it had preservation or upgrading to HD in mind. It's some kind of weird hybrid video celluloid thing that just I don't think that you can do much with it.
No, it looks like it's meant to be crap qual to me. That's what these films look like. It Legend of the Wolf looks like it, and so does this Shanghai Affairs. I looked at it and went, okay, I know I'm watching a VCD, but I bet you any money this film is just always crap qual, even at the cinema.
I think it was filmed on like an Etch-a-Sketch or something.
yeah, there you go. Yeah.
Viewfinder,
I'm sure he'd be happy to hear that, wouldn't he? Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe it was the look he was going for.
We're only lucky they didn't. He was just about to shake it, and they went, "Wait, we've got to transfer it to VCD."
That's it. Well, look, so Shanghai Affairs. So you've both watched it, and you're saying neither of you've seen it before. So this is fresh eyes.
Yes. Yeah.
1998. Okay, so
same eyes I always do, watching everything, but yeah.
It looks older than 1998.
I gave him a watch.
You gave him a watch.
I'd have taken a good 5 years off it. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, don't it? It looks old. I know 1998 is old, but
but I kind of enjoyed it.
It's not
kind of enjoying it. It's all right.
I think it's all right as well. It's grown on me.
It's just a linear, straight up and down action film, right?
Yeah.
With extra human experiments, which I liked.
Yeah, although that comes a bit late in, doesn't it?
Yeah.
The thing is, the action, which Donnie was involved, he's the choreographer, right? The action, the action's good. The action is good. The problem is, I think it's everything else, really, isn't it? The story is very bog standard. His kind of benevolent doctor, the fucking romance with what's her name, Athena Chu. It's all very corny. very, very corny, and the music.
Well, see, I can get in, but I can get into corny, right? And I can actually get into this exact corny, right? So I don't have a problem with Athena Chu, Donnie Yen, mute, Dr. Kiwa's mute with thing, brother doesn't understand. I can get into that. I'm fine with that, right? Because we're into, Shaw Brothers territory there, don't we? We're into old school Kung Fu territory there. But it did kind of turn the dial up a little bit on the romance and a lot of soft focus.
Oh, yeah.
A lot of this film seems to be filmed in soft focus.
Yeah, agreed. Yeah.
But I mean, one thing I would say, I think, so I need some help.
Try.
We're with you, Darren. Bring it on.
Yeah.
Back you up.
So this is a name I have only ever seen written down, and I have never actually uttered this actor's name before.
Okay, right. I think I know where you're going with this.
Me too.
So Yu Rong Guang.
No, you wrong, Guang.
Yeah, no, you're wrong. Yeah, good one. Done ya. Yeah.
So how do you say his name?
I
know how to say it in Cantonese only. In Cantonese, it's Yu Wing Guang.
Yu Wing Guang.
Oh, is it?
Oh, okay.
Yu Wing Guang. But when you see it written down, it's like a you wrong. Yeah, so
that's it.
Right,
Yeah.
The mainland actors tend not to use the hyphen in the middle, don't they? They tend to run first and second names together.
Yeah. Which is why I say you wrong one.
Yes, but then again, even if it was hyphenated, I'm guessing it would be you wrong Wong. I mean, at least if you just hyphenated it rather than change the pronunciation.
So I think everyone knows Donnie Yen's MO, right?
Mm-hmm.
Everyone knows what they're getting when they go and see a Donnie Yen film, particularly in this period. And this is the period where he starts getting big, right? Post Dragon Inn, starting to direct his own shit. And this is when it's kind of the start of Donnie Yen, really, isn't it? But the star of the show for me is Yu Rong Guang.
Yeah, no, I agree.
Yeah, because
and they both start together in Iron Monkey, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And he's doing a better job in this than he was in that. But then he probably wouldn't get as much scope, to be fair. But I think his role in this is particularly good. I think he's nailing that kind of hyper aggressive gangster character, but also with some sort of on the code, and he loves his little sister and all that business.
Yeah, you see,
I think he's nailing it, and he just plays a villain in. Well, this is modern day, isn't it? So it's like you can never tell.
Yeah.
No, not really.
I'm thinking it's supposed to be the 30s or something like that.
Yeah, sort of.
No, it's not. No. They've got a modern hospital.
I think that's just an anachronism. I think the suits, I think they're supposed to be the 30s, the pocket watch and the fucking villagers and everything. It's movie land, right? It's movie land. It's
that's fine. Yeah. But this is exactly the groove he needs to be into, and he fucking nails that. And he's really, really good. He fights really, really good on screen.
Oh no, he's real at Kung for real. So yeah, he's good.
Oh yeah. But he's good in a suit. He's good at fighting in a suit.
That's it. Yeah, he's the leader of the Axe Gang, isn't he?
Yeah.
By the way, I'm glad the Axe Gang finally got their axes out as well. I was wondering, why did they fucking call the Axe Gang? But eventually they do get the axes out, so that was good.
They did eventually.
It did pay off.
Yeah.
We could have called them the Twizzlers Gang or something. But no,
they could have introduced Yu Rong Guang's axe on a chain quite a lot earlier.
Yeah, that is cool.
You know what? That is cool. Yeah, I'd actually forgotten about the axe and the chain. So you were right to bring that up. That is good. Yeah.
It is cool, but it is actually a shit end fight. In my opinion.
Agree. I don't like the end fight. I'm not sure I like any of the fights.
I didn't mind the end fight. And I like
all right.
When it ended, the film just ends. It's very IFD in that way. Like there was not even a ninja walking out of frame, right? It was just boom, done. Oh, okay.
Now I just want to hark back to something you said there, Darren, about Donnie Yen, and by this time, this is what people expect from him, and you know what you're going to get. I actually don't think that's the case with this era. This era, to me, is a strange era because we've gone from him working with Yuen Woo-ping and putting out films that are normal, even though Mismatched Couples isn't. But you know, Drunken Tai-Chi is still
Mismatched Couples is a classic. Carry on.
I like it, yeah. I mean, I like it, but it ain't a normal film.
And
but yeah, I definitely like that film.
Tai-Chi is still the best Donnie Yen film.
The best. You're absolutely wicked, right?
1,000,000%.
Yeah, so he just come in, you know, he's worked with someone like Yuen Woo-ping, he's doing stuff, and then all of a sudden he starts to get his hands on things properly and giving it a go. And these films, these weird films, Legend of the Wolf, Ballistic Kiss, and this, to me, they ain't what I expect from Donnie Yen. They are strange things. I remember when I mentioned Ballistic Kiss to Rodney once, he said, yeah, it's like an experimental phase. I think that's a good way to put it. It feels like that. They feel like experimental films. They're not what I expect. When I watched Legend of the Wolf for the first time, honestly, I loved it. I was blown away, but I still went, what is this weird film? The setting, the qual, the fight, the weird cameras, the weird speeded up stuff. What is this? And I think the same about this and Ballistic Kiss.
Yeah,
so
I
think that they're not
Wolf and this are good. They're the experiments in doing something interesting. But the experiment in Ballistic Kiss is like, what happens if you put a turd on top of another turd or something?
Yeah.
It's a stupid experiment, right?
Yeah, it's definitely getting rewatched now. That, because I haven't seen that for ages. Getting rewatched. I just remember hating it at the time. And funnily enough, being very disappointed at the time. Because now Donnie's got his hands on things. So before you watch these films, you go, oh, Donnie's brought a new film out and it's directed by Donnie. I do think what I'm going to get is going to be something special, you know, because now it's all him. And when it became all him, I kind of went, what are these weird films that he's doing? Because to me, they're weird Donnie Yen films. They're strange. So but there you go. I don't mean they're crap, they're weird looking. Everything's weird about these films, you know.
No, this isn't crap. This isn't Ballistic Kiss crap. It's definitely better than that. Worth mentioning as well, he does have someone called Alan Lowe credited as executive director, which is always one of those weird credits. Like the Angel films all have them, right? Like that's why you're not sure who actually made them. So I guess Donnie's having a bit of help with the directing on this.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah. Do we know what this fella's done?
I looked him up, but there wasn't much that he's done other things as well. This wasn't the only thing, but there wasn't much. He directed something called The Setup, was something I wrote down. A few other things, nothing that I'd seen, I don't think.
Right. Okay, well, I do think that you're right. The Yu Wing Guang was definitely the best. I do think that the love stuff, I quite liked it, but it was getting on my wick a bit as well because they were just too mushy with it, constantly saying each other's names. You just couldn't, shouting out the names and all that. It's like, all right, enough of this. But it takes
a lot to make me not want to look at Athena Chu all day. So that's, proves how kind of irritating it is that I had off Athena, and that's not something I often would say, right?
but enough's enough, right? It was getting on your wick. And this, what Darren said there, though, the reason it was good to have that bit, because let's just go back to the beginning. So he's an educated doctor from, I think, England. And so he's had some, so we're saying, is it modern or not? I think that he goes back to a very sort of traditional village to help people who don't know about Western medicine and stuff like that, and to, help out villagers who don't have money. And, he's like a righteous doctor with Western doctor's skills.
I should learn from you here. You went the diplomatic route. You said traditional. I said backward, but you know what I mean? Yeah.
That was actually that's why there was a pause, because that was what was going to come out.
Right.
Right?
Yes, you have been trained to walk among humanity. I haven't yet. I'm still learning.
So I liked that because it brought a little different dimension there, that he's bringing this Western stuff. We know that because his mentor or whatever is like an Inger's bloke, isn't it?
Yeah, super evil white people in this film as well.
That's right. Yeah, exactly. Well, what, more evil than an axe gang? Yeah, all right. But yes, you are right. He's definitely. Actually, you know what? Yes, he is more evil than Axe Gang, because those Axe Gang people, they're kind of the people that, as long as you do what you say, they're going to look after you, a bit craze style. You know, if you're in this town, we'll look after you. It's a community. Just don't mess with us. Just do everything that we say, and we're all going to be good. Whereas the evil bloke, like you say, that evil doctor, the organ harvesting bloke, that's next level stuff, right? We know that. So you're right. He's definitely more evil than Axe Gang, but the fact that they team up together means it's worse. Yeah,
he's not going to be invited to the mum's funeral, is he?
No. He ain't good. But when he goes back to this little village to help people out, obviously people are skeptical and this, that, and the other. But Axe Gang bloke, he's very traditional. He's set in his ways. He doesn't believe in Western medicine. He thinks it's all a load of crap. But his sister has got some sort of thing wrong with her where she can't talk. Now, that's already the first weird thing about this film, I'd say. The first thing that made me go, well, this is a bit strange. Why can't she talk? Right? But she can't talk, right?
There's a medical lump in her throat.
One of the medical lumps.
It's a medical lump.
Ah, that actually is it up.
I'm fairly sure that's what the subtitles say.
And right, okay. Well, there you go. So we know what that's called now.
So it's a medical lump.
Yeah, okay. But you brought it up, the way that the Axe Gang leader, he's torn, because let's face it, he loves his sister loads, right? Do anything for her, protect her and all that. And he feels he needs to protect her against Donnie, who's saying, listen, never mind whether I love her or not, I can repair the
medical lump.
Ryan, to be fair,
right, hang on.
He's trying to stop Donnie Yen going deep into Athena Shu's throat, which is what he wants to do.
Darren?
Medical lump.
Okay, I got it. Yeah, all right. That was definitely necessary. In post, can we get some subtitles up as well for that? That'd be great, right? So he's torn, isn't he? Because he don't believe in the Western medicine, but he wants his sister fixed. He also don't want to be mates with Donnie because he wants to smash Donnie's little practice up, his little Doctor's Wong Fei Hung little practice up, because he wants to build, I don't know, a casino there or something. He don't want that there. But at the same time, there's the odd thing going on where Donnie's proving that his stuff works or whatever, and that he's righteous and will help anyone, don't care if you're an Axe Gang member or not. So I do quite like that little emotional thing, and that's why he is the best character in it.
Yeah, you could argue as well that he's smart, right? Because he's seen straight through Donnie Yen, right? Because Donnie Yen seems too good to be true, and he's right, because he's a total perv, and as soon as he's introduced to Athena Chu, he's immediately fascinated in her throat and what's down her throat. And we all know what he's thinking. No, we don't have to. We don't have to spell it out, because obviously it's what everyone's thinking.
We know. Yeah. He wants to clear that out so he can put something else in.
Or poke it while it's whatever you do with medical lumps, if you have a medical lump fetish. But Yurong Guang's on, he's like, I've met the likes of you before. Because obviously I've grown up with Athena Chu as my sister. So this is not new to me. This is like that. Who's that bloke, the actor who's Angela Mao's real life brother, right? He's had to deal with that his whole life, right? People sniffing around.
Sniffing about.
Oh, yeah.
Sniffing about. That's exactly right. But Donnie, he's the one getting sniffed because she does like him. But if you remember, the mute girl, she's got some kind of, I don't know, helper, right?
Oh, yeah, the helper likes him, doesn't she? Yeah.
I felt sorry for her.
Totally sidelined. No resolution to that at all in the film.
Nothing.
Yeah.
And you know what? Her character was brilliant. She was so understanding, so nice. I kept waiting, thinking she's going to get the right ump in a minute. And she didn't. She just got emotional. She didn't like what was going on. She just felt like she had to accept it. But she never changed, if you know what I mean. She always was. I thought she was going to go against the girl who was. I thought you ain't really her mate. You're just paid to be her mate. But it was real. She was her mate.
Yeah,
and she didn't get the hump, and she didn't get the lump.
Right. So I felt sorry for that second love interest, and I thought she dealt with the whole situation admirably. That's what I'm going to say.
Yeah, you're right.
She was all right.
I'll tell you what I was disappointed with. So Yu Rongwon is like into this fox spirit, right? Like this supernatural local fox spirit that looks after their local area.
Yeah.
And I kind of wanted a little bit more made out of the fox spirit thing. Like maybe have a Taoist ritual that, either
it was a bit throwaway, wasn't it?
Yeah, I was I thought, oh, fox spirit. I thought, oh, is that going anywhere?
They could have at least had a cutaway to Basil Brush or something.
Well, exactly, yeah. I mean,
They probably had it Zoom and they're just running out of time and just had to squeeze it all in, and something had to give, you know what I mean? We don't care about that, though.
98, Basil would have been quite busy on the student nostalgia circuit, wouldn't he? So so you wouldn't have had, they'd have had to fly him over, do boom, boom, and then go back. So he was probably too busy entertaining people in student.
Well, and I don't think there was too much of a budget on this anyway.
Hang on, am I remembering wrong? Is Basil Brush not a fox?
No, Basil Brush is a fox.
He is.
He is a fox, isn't he? Yeah, okay. Yeah.
He's a fox, yeah. What else would he be?
Well, I was just thinking, I don't think of Basil Brush as a fox. But yes, I suppose he must be. Because he's his own man, isn't he? You just think he's Basil Brush. And plus, I don't know, I've never heard of foxes in the wild saying, boom, boom.
Did you think Basil Brush was just a man that was ginger?
No, I know enough to separate him from the Homo sapiens of this world.
Because you're a bit ginger as well, aren't you?
Yes, that's true, but I'm not as ginger as Basil Brush.
No.
It's not that easy, because if we just listen to the name Basil Brush, I mean, we know what he looks like, but it's not that easy. Roland Rat, easy. What was Roland again? Easy.
If you look at Basil Brush, do you know what it's going to taste like when you lick him? Felt, I suppose.
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
Yeah. That bristles, isn't it?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
But anyway, we don't, Yurangon doesn't go all Basil Brush. So very rare as well that there's a credit that is on IMDb but not on Hong Kong Movie Database. Mak Pai Chung is in this film. This is extra thing, but he's in it. Hong Kong Movie Database doesn't list him. Neither does, I think, it list Kenji Tanigaki, who's in it.
He is it, and I actually noticed him in it. Yeah.
And he would go on to be a major part of Donnie's career, right? And he directed Enter the Fat Dragon, it's a remake, it's not really a remake, and did the action on Sakura, and more recently, what's it called? Twilight of the Warriors Walled In, right? That's
correct. Yeah. Worked with Donnie for a long time. Yeah. He's in Legend of the Wolf as well. You see him crop up in that. So
Basil Brush fan as well, from what I understand.
I'm sure. Yeah.
So
I don't think he'd have done the film had there not been a Basil Brush reference.
Exactly. Which there isn't.
I know what you mean. Yeah, that's what sold it.
In retrospect, that he was sold a bill of goods, right? There was no Basil Brush.
Cut out in post, isn't it?
Interesting sideline. Actually, I heard in the original director's cut of Enter the Fat Dragon, the cast of Rainbow turned up. And have a fight as well, like
even Jeffrey.
Yeah. Bundled as Hunga. I didn't know that.
Yeah, you can see it. Yeah, you can see he's quite a unit, isn't he?
Yeah. So fascinating stuff coming up, exclusive to this show, I believe.
I believe so. Yeah. As of many things been.
What surprised me was George and the Monk Spade. Fucking hell, he can move that fucking thing.
Yeah.
I mean,
complaining the whole time, mind. I don't think no. Anyway, so
yes.
So Legend of the Wolf was
Yes.
marketed in some territories as some kind of weird big boss.
New big boss, yeah.
Yeah, as was this film in Japan, oddly enough. So in Japan, this was called Shin Dragon Kikipatsu, and Dragon Kikipatsu was the original big boss back in 71. So this was, they were trying to market it.
Shin is new, yeah.
So
right. Well, there you go.
Yeah, so there you go.
I don't really know why. Is there any reference you can think of?
No, not really. I mean, I suppose you could argue there's a chance. It's not really organ harvesting, though, is it? It's for hiding drugs in Big Boss, but there's a certain amount of shenanigans with corpses, you could say.
Yeah, I suppose. Yeah,
pretty much no. Yeah. Other than Donnie's lifelong kind of, quest to acquaint himself with Bruce Lee to a certain extent, right? I think is undeniable. I don't think that's a controversial thing.
No,
yeah, I don't think so. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's been pretty evident in it throughout his career. Yeah.
And I guess for whatever the Japanese distributors thought, well, that makes more sense than just. Well, it's weird, isn't it? It's like obviously they were like, well, that fucking cool campaign didn't work, so let's go old school. And although I don't know, it might have, I have no idea if Ballistic Kiss was popular here or not, but
I mean, well,
because they even went so far as to the marketing here, if I remember correctly, it had like the poster or some of the shirashes or the one sheets and stuff was like they mocked up like a fake comic book that was called Kur, Donnie Yen in Kur, and it had like a
they're kind of done a good job on the market. It sounds like they made it better than it is.
Yeah.
Actually, I was going to say that sounds more cringeworthy than what I thought it actually was.
It's cringeworthy, but at least
in that context.
In
that context.
Yeah, if the film had turned out
if it's a film called Cool.
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
And now it's a comic strip.
Right.
I want to see it. I'm going to have to look that up. I didn't know. I'm going to have a look at that.
If you were in a newsagent, would you pick up a comic called Cool?
If it had Donnie Yen in it, I would. I would. Only if it had Yen in it, Can you buy that version or not, Clive, in Japan? Is it on DVD? Is it readily available there? I've got a Hong Kong DVD of it, but
I don't think that was on the DVD box. I think that was the marketing. I seem to remember the DVD box around at the time was pretty bog standard. Right, what you'd expect, but I think that was something. It was like a poster or something, and some images. I remember. You can find them online, but
Right. Well, Donnie eventually operates on this girl, doesn't he? He allows the operation, and he fixes her so she can talk.
Not without a bit of a fight, though. You have a bit of a tussle in the operating theatre.
There is a smash up in the operating theatre. I mean, the guy just don't know when to quit. It's like, come on, bad idea, that, wasn't it?
Yeah, but what I quite like is because he's got this assistant. We haven't spoke about his assistant, who was played by
Woody Chan.
Oh yeah, Donnie's mate. Yeah, I like Donnie's mate.
Yeah, he's cool. Yeah.
Or Ruko Chan is also known as, apparently.
Yeah.
Ruko.
Yes. So and he's the one that like immediately starts all the fights.
Yeah, he's young, brash, aggressive. Yeah.
But I quite like the bit where you've got Yuron Guang's gang trying to break into an operating theatre where she's under anaesthetic and Donnie Yen's trying to operate on her. And then he's somehow assisting because he's a doctor as well. And then he just like busts out into the corridor and takes them all on.
Deal with it,
Yeah. But that seems quite unhygienic if he's going to go back in there and assist. Is there some sort of quarantine kind of thing where if you come out the operating theatre and get someone's blood on you,
yes, this is true,
maybe shouldn't go back in.
But I think hygiene's a moot point when you consider that when he's busting out to fight, Donnie Yen's unzipping as we speak, right? So it's it doesn't matter.
I see where you're going. Yeah, okay, yeah.
Medical
but that's a bit
lump. Medical lump. It can't be treated any other way.
But there's a bit of a contradiction there, as you guys mentioned there, with the whole, modern, not modern version, because it ain't modern, because that's why he's in a village with, just not that much. He ain't got an operating theatre. But when he actually gets serious and he goes, well, I aim to operate rather than just stitch someone up, Ian does end up in a hospital with
equipment. I wonder
equipment.
if they went to a nearby town or
that's what it must
into
be.
the future or something like that.
I don't know, but it seemed like.
Yeah, because they're like normal hospital corridors, aren't they?
Yeah.
Yes, it was just a normal place. And he was sort of walking around in it, and I don't know, like he was the man, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
He was known in there.
There's a missing scene, I think, where he gets in a DeLorean.
Right,
and that's how they arrive at the...
Probably, yeah. Well, he fixes her, so now he's really torn, because obviously he's fixed her, and he's the Axe Gang leader, and Donnie won't want to give up his practice and all that. But then they start finding murdered kids, don't they? And it turns into a bit of a Sherlock Holmes detective film for a bit, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Donnie he goes investigating it to find out what's going on.
What I thought was a shame, actually, because part of the hook on that is early in the film, because the village is really poor and the Axe Gang are like, shaking everyone down. And because Donnie knows Yurong Guang's boss, who's like the hospital medical experiments dude, he gets the Axe Gang to back off the village.
That's right. They have an agreement.
Yeah. So, it's at the start of the film, it's all about, everyone's poor, no one can really afford to live because the Axe Gang is shaking us all down all the time. And what's his name again? Woody Chan takes on a student, isn't he? He's like a little kid.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah.
So he takes on this little girl,
Grasshopper,
who's from the pool. Yeah, fucking grasshopper. Honestly.
Yeah, I liked that.
I love that. I love that, and that's what I'm saying. I wish they'd have done a little bit more with that. Either kept her alive a bit longer.
Right. Agreed.
Or actually had a like face up to Yurong Guang's.
To be fair, it's not that huge an in-depth investigation into it, right? Because the evil white doctor kind of is so arrogant and evil. He doesn't even try and, like, someone says to him, "Are you cutting up little village children to give their organs?" Yes, I am cutting up little village because I am white and superior and evil, and they will not have any good lives anyway. So it's. Yeah. Oh, okay. Then I didn't.
Oh, yes, for the greater good, isn't it?
I didn't even need to put my deer stalker on to investigate that.
No, he does come clean pretty quick, because he thinks he might be able to convince Donnie to be a part of it, turn a blind eye and all that.
Right.
So you mentioned the little girl, and now you've reminded me that she is one of the kids. She gets done, right? And that film, I'm now remembering, even though it wasn't that long ago I watched it, it doesn't matter. Now it's coming back. Now we're chatting about it. It's got a lot of sorrow in it. Everyone gets mashed up in it, right? That little girl gets mashed up. She didn't have to be one of the kids that got mashed up so that they take it serious. You know what I mean? And then even the girl he repairs, right? She gets mashed up, right?
Yeah.
Because the gang member, one of the gang members, don't he mash her up by accident?
Yeah, exactly. She does.
Yeah, so it's the assistant dude. It's the older dude, isn't it? It's the older one.
But he's the other one who keeps starting trouble. Wherever he turns up, he wants to have a smash. And Donnie's mate's like, no worries, I'll have a smash. But Donnie's mate gets smashed and all. They all get done.
But the thing is, but to Darren's point, though, that's the problem. It's because the dial's turned up too far. You're quite right. There's all this potential pathos here. It's totally undone by being candid and crap. For me,
I'm not gonna say totally undone. I think it works to a certain degree.
Right.
I think
you're more forgiving than I am of this.
Yeah. But I think in general, because it's like broad strokes of plot, right? Generally speaking, it's like broad strokes, and I can get into feeling sad that a little kid died who was being trained by Donnie Yen's student, and it's all a bit meaningless, and now everyone's angry about it, and we need to fucking kick ass about that. I can get into that. But it could. You're right. It could have been done so much better.
Yeah,
It could have been handled so much better.
In a pretty basic film, there was kind of too many components to have any. There was no room to breathe.
I think they could just have cut the human experiments out the whole thing, and it would have been a better film.
Yeah.
Or made more of the human
or
experiments.
made more of it. Exactly.
Right.
Yeah, it's neither fish nor fowl. That's the problem.
Exactly. Yeah.
Because it is, there's a lot of things going on in it, but it's all rushed, isn't it? And where's the girl? She's not here. She ain't come home for a bit. And I was like, no, don't tell me she's gonna get done. And his mate, he didn't have to get done and all. And his right hand man, I know why he got done, because didn't he mash him up because he mashed up his sister?
So he hit the sister with the axe, and then Yurong just smashed his head in with an axe.
They just done him.
Yeah.
Was that weird?
Which wasn't a bad scene. Yeah.
With leaves and blowing stuff and wind.
One thing I thought was quite refreshing was, it seemed to me at least, and I have the gutterest mind in town, so if it was in there, I would have picked up on it. I like the fact that the relationship between Yurong and his sister Thina Chu seems to be utterly platonic and totally just familial. There's no hint of incest or anything else.
Nothing.
In there.
Yeah.
And I thought that was actually quite refreshing, because you would expect they'd try and play on that a little bit, but not. Absolutely. That's one thing Yurong isn't a big villain about, right? He's not trying to knob his own sister.
Yeah. But that's another trick they missed, though, right? Is that Yurong is honourable, right?
In his own weird, twisted way, yeah.
But he's honourable towards his sister, and he's honourable towards his traditional beliefs. Right.
And Basil Brush.
Yeah. But he's also tied in with this doctor, and yes, he kills the doctor. But then somehow he feels he has to kill Donnie Yen at the end, just so there's a big fight.
Yeah, that was crap.
Yeah.
There was no need for that. They should have actually been mates. They had the common thing in the common goal, right? They both loved that girl.
Why do
they have to smash up for?
I disagree. I think, even though it doesn't make any sense, it's weird. The more you talk about it, Yurong Guang's character and his performance and the arc that he goes on is so much more sophisticated than everything else in the film.
No, he's good. Yeah, he's good.
It's like he's working from a different script or something. Like he's working on
it's good, this film, isn't it?
Yeah. Then he saw it and but
it's hands down the best performance in the film.
Yeah, he's wicked in it. But I didn't want him to have I honestly thought that they were gonna. No, obviously, I want a last fight.
Yeah,
but I didn't understand why he was so angry with Donnie. I'm like, well, he's only done. I mean, okay, all right. You know what? I kind of do understand it. If Donnie never came over from England and turned up and created that practice, his sister wouldn't be able to talk, but she'd still be walking about, right?
Yeah, exactly.
But she would be.
And he ruined the harvesting thing. He ruined that money-making scheme.
If he had come back from New York City, where he saw Deep Throat with Linda Lovelace and got his obsession with the medical lump and all that.
That's it.
Yeah.
Under the counter films, back to the vid shops here.
Yeah.
Shanghai affairs affair.
Donnie does
That's all she wrote.
So I understand now. I mean, I'm trying to make sense of it, but I honestly just thought, has he really got to get done? And even when Donnie done him, I was like, I know he was a bit evil. He was doing the organ harvesting and all that, but I mean, it was just a bit. Everyone got done in that film. Weren't you in the last man standing? That was it.
Yeah, but that's why it should be more bleak. That's why it should be more a bit like Burning Paradise in a way. It should be a bit more gritty. That's the shame of it. Like you said, that it goes the weird Hallmark greeting card approach to totally.
There could have been more internal conflict with Yurong Wong. I think they missed the trick with that. I think that, Yurong Wong being conflicted between Guaylo Doctor and what's right, and his sister and Donnie Yen. I think that could have been made more of.
Yeah.
And it just seemed like they were just having a fight for the fucking sake of it.
Well,
at the end,
it's supposed to be a
well,
Kang.
no,
So
I'm up for that. No,
it,
I'm
yeah.
up for that. No, I'm up for that. But what, you know, what was the point? You know, what was gained at the end of it?
See,
Right?
that's
The
what I
other one
like.
was just like,
That's what
you
I
know.
like about it, though. It makes sense to me for whatever reason. It makes sense to me that at that point, Yu Rang Wong's character is just like, "Ah, fuck. You know what? I
Lost everything. Yeah.
I can't help it. I'm bent this way, and I'm inextricably linked. This is my destiny to having to take you down. I'm beyond reasoning. I know you've, you know, to me, it kind of makes sense. It kind of makes sense.
Okay.
He's too far gone, isn't he?
Yeah,
that's
exactly.
it. His sister's gone.
Yeah.
You know, the gang's all been smashed up. He ain't beat this bloke. It's like anything, right? You have an argument with someone, you start to lose the argument, and the ultimate thing is just to go, all right, well, let's have a smash up then, right? If we can't,
it's
if I
like
can't outsmart you, I might be able to smash your face in, and that's what
it's like the Yu Rong Guang, his character's equivalent of going, yeah, well, you are, but what am I? Well, you are, but what am I? It's
yeah,
like,
all right. Okay. That's fine, right?
Yeah.
But that fight was shit.
I
Right?
disagree.
That
I
fight. No, I no.
like that fight. I don't mind that fight.
I didn't like that
it was all right.
at all. Donnie Yen is tied himself up. For some reason, he's got in a fucking tangle.
Oh yeah.
With all
Well,
the
it's to
fucking
pull him
chains.
closer. It's to pull him closer, isn't it? That's why.
Yeah.
No, it's not. It's
Yeah,
not.
I remember it.
He's
The
just
rope
like fucking,
darty bit. He ties
fucking-
himself up with
Yeah.
a
He ties
yes.
himself up in it, and then he lobs the axe
Yeah,
back.
brilliant.
No.
Yes, brilliant.
No, I didn't like that at all.
That was good, that bit. You had to bring that bit up, the rope bit. Well, whoa, that was great.
No, I didn't like that at all.
The fight
I'm the only one. I'm the only one.
I don't think I liked the last fight as in the last fight, but the rope bit was brilliant. But I don't know if I liked any of the fights, really. I don't think the Kung in it was good.
See, that's the same.
It comes with 1998. Right? That's what fights were like in 1998.
Yeah.
Again, it's this thing about, as well, like we were saying before, about I probably wouldn't have rated it even as low as I do now back in 98. But now, because that period's come and gone, I'm at least grateful for this, you know, slight bit of action.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know. I think it's better now as well. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, there was enough action in it, and the action was good. So yeah.
But it had all that, you know, blurry sort of effect to it, and I know the qual was crap, and I was watching it on VCD and all, right? Even so, yeah, it was all blurry and crap and rubbish slow motion things.
Yeah.
Although not, if you're talking slow motion, again, Ballistic Kiss, every action scene in that film is slow motion.
Yeah,
every single scene, and it's tiresome. I mean, it's
of course,
really. That movie's this was not a chore to sit through. Ballistic Kiss was a
no, it wasn't,
and it wasn't good either. So, comparatively, I didn't mind this.
Yeah, I had fun with it, and I'm probably not going to watch it again.
No,
but
not in my
while
life.
it was on, I was having fun. You know, while it was on, I was entertained.
It was all right. Yeah. No, I agree. You know, and because I watched it years ago and thought, "Oof, what's this, Donnie? You know, where's Drunken Tai Chi?" But it doesn't matter because now I knew. You see, I knew it was crap. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So when I rewatched
it, BMX in it.
I did. Yes, I didn't worry about
the
the
body
fights.
popping.
Yeah, right. Yeah, but I didn't worry about the fights and the Kung because I thought it was going to be crap. So I know this is a crap Kung. So then I concentrated more on the story, which I'm not saying is amazing, but it helped me enjoy the film more because I went, well, it's actually fairly enjoyable as
well,
a
film. It's not crap. It's not crap. I
didn't hate it. No, I thought it was all right. But I think I did hate it years ago when I first saw it. I did. Okay. I don't remember thinking, crap, Donnie, that, you know, shelve that. I think I've seen it twice when I first got it and then rewatched it recently. And I rewatched it recently on purpose because I looked at it and went, this can't be crap. It's 90s Donnie. It's probably brilliant now.
Have you had that VCD since back in the day? Is that how you first watched it, or have you got that more?
Yeah. I believe this. I actually bought this when I was in Hong Kong years and years ago. Yeah, I believe that's where it came from. Yeah. So
Excellent.
yeah, and I would have done it because it's got yen on the front, and I brought it back, and yeah, I remember being disappointed in it, but I wasn't disappointed now because I knew what to expect. You know.
Well, you know what though? You know what? I don't think if I'd have whacked that on my DVD player as a VCD in 1999, 2000, I don't think I'd have been disappointed at all. I think I'd have enjoyed it.
Yeah.
I think I'd have had fun with it.
Yeah, I really like Donnie Yen, and to me, you know, tight. I mean, look, don't get me wrong; it's not widescreen or anything, right? This, so I've probably got. It's probably all cut off anyway.
We probably need to get Steve a better copy of.
No. I mean, this is the only one I know. But yeah, you said you couldn't get a good copy. It was crap while what you got, right?
Well, it's probably better than yours.
Well, we found a copy that fell off a back of a lorry, which claims to be 1080p, which is laughable. It's probably cleaned up from the VCD, but it's not remastered in any way, shape, or form.
Did it look like it was widescreen? Was it 16:9?
Yeah, it looks like widescreen to me. Yeah, I think.
Yeah.
It's not cropped.
I'd have to compare it with your disc to see, but it didn't seem like a very expansive, but I think that's just maybe the way it was shot. I think that is how it looked.
I think so. When this was 4:3, right? When I looked at it, I went, oh, you know, it's not widescreen. But honestly, I didn't feel like I was missing stuff.
No, I don't think it is.
Yeah.
I don't think it was not like that. No. Because Legend of the Wolf wasn't either, right? Legend of the Wolf has that kind of slightly cramped look as well. All these films.
Yeah, cramped. That's it, cramped look. Yeah.
And this is where I came. This is where I'm coming from with the sons and daughters Prisoner Cell Block H comment. Is it looks like a TV show, right? Although
it really does.
Yeah. And it's overlit, and there's too much soft focus, and Legend of the Wolf is not quite the same, but it seems like there's some bad filmmaking in them.
It does look TV series, yeah. It does.
Am I remembering wrong? Does Legend of the Wolf have a lot of that kind of blurry motion?
Yeah,
it's blurry and dusty.
Yeah.
It's like there's a lot of dust and stuff being thrown up.
Yeah, all speeded up.
I don't think we're ever getting a HD version of those things, and you probably wouldn't want one either, actually, because you'd be seeing all the stuff it's obfuscating, right? So
And the thing is that
no, I was gonna say, even some amazing films. I can't remember. Is it either Good, the Bad, and the Ugly, or Once Upon a Time in the West, or something? You see it in the most crystal fucking clear HD, and there's a scene where there's like a big shot, expansive shot, and you can see there's like a car driving in the background down a highway, so there's a certain amount, films are supposed to look like films, like when those fucking Hobbit films came out in whatever they was, what were they? They were like 720 frames per second, or
right?
No, hang on, that's not right.
The Hobbit ones, and
they and that fucking what was the Will Smith film from a few years ago, which was shot in like some amazing camera that took
that Netflix exclusive with the alien bloke. Yeah, I can't remember.
Those the action scenes in that film, and not the Hobbit so much, because but I remember going to see that Will Smith film in a theater, and the action scenes look like making of behind the scenes.
Yeah, they're too real.
They're too real.
Cinema has to have a little bit of Vaseline around the lens. Or
it needs to be produced.
It's got to be dreamlike. It's got to be dreamlike. Once they start looking too real, it's like, it just looks like someone shot that in their garden shed or something. It's like weird.
That's right. It's in the park or whatever. Yeah, it's crap. You're right. It needs whatever it is they put on it. Filters, Technicolor, I don't know, whatever it is, it needs to finish to make it look like a film and not budget.
It's not supposed to be a documentary, right? It's
right. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's supposed to have a look to it. Yeah. Well, there you go. I mean, this definitely had a look to it, and all that's for sure. You know.
Yes, it just gets.
But it was
started. Yeah,
it was good to get a chance to see it because we hadn't seen it before.
that's
there
true.
you go. Yeah.
Yeah,
And I was into it, you know, on an emotional level. It's just, you know, it's from 1998.
Yeah,
so
of course.
What are you going to do?
What happened to the friend, the carer who looks after the mute? What happened to her?
Nothing. She just got forgotten.
But now the mute's been done. Why couldn't Donnie get together with her after? Because I don't remember if she got done or not. Did she get done?
Not tragic enough. No, she lived. She lived. I remember.
Right. Okay. So it could have had a happy ending.
In the director's cut, she runs away with Basil's brush.
Oh, right, gotcha. Okay, yeah, understood. Right, I'm with you.
Fox God. Yeah.
And he's like boom, boom. He's done. He's done
with every thrust. Boom, boom.
Yeah, exactly. So anyway, yes. Who knows when we would have got round to this otherwise? So I would like to thank Steve for coming on.
Thank you for having me on, boys.
It's been a pleasure.
Lovely to have you, Steve.
Hope you enjoyed yourself.
I loved it. Couldn't you tell? And I mean it. I loved it.
You did. Yeah. Cool.
Whenever that Zoom cut off, I was like, "Oh, come on! I haven't finished. I want to do more chats." I love it, mate. I love it. Really, honestly, guys. Thanks for asking me on. I appreciate it. Thanks a lot.
Welcome back anytime. Yeah.
Nice one.
Yeah.
And we'll come on your show if you so desire. We can.
Oh well, I do so desire. I would absolutely love that. Yeah. Thanks very much. Yeah.
All right,
that's wicked, man. Thanks. Keep it up, boys.
Yeah,
you too.
Until next time.
Yeah.
We do it for the love of it. You know that, right?
Yeah.
For no other reason apart from to do the chats. We love the chats and we love the cungs.
Quite right.
Nice one, fellas.